Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the new Afrikan Black Panther Party, NAB-PP North. All power to the people.
Classroom to give somebody some higher experience in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Without restrictions, because like I said, we all about selfless acts of love. We're not trying to disrupt nothing, we're just trying to create something. So we can get that. And just what we don't know, let us know. You feel me? Like, if it's a slumlord that's trying to get a contract, I know you might have to fuck with him, but let us know how he moving, so we can tell people don't fuck with him. You know, like, you need the inside job. You know what I'm saying?
So that point, if you were to go put up the nets or anything himself, is there any recourse that he needs to be prepared for? If you were
Not really. I mean, one of our
just them taking it down. You gonna give me the face of the property charge, putting up basketball hoops. Let me sign out, give me my ticket. Shit over with. I'm gonna plead guilty.
Hey, yo, I'm here with Frank and Subi. Hey. Frank and Subi gonna be heading our Panther organization out here in DR. You wanna see what Frank been up to? Frank been working with children for over 30-something years. Huh? Hola. Frank been working with children for over 30 years. Yo, look at this, man. Look at this. Look at this. Yo, children are our future. Hola, señor. Yo, children are our future. I mean, everything we do, our focus is mainly on the children, organizing and working with the children. Look at this, man. It's like a gold mine. It's a gold mine for the future. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, came out to DR, started telling them about the Pantherism, telling them what we do. So now our duty is to provide the resources while we're teaching them what Pantherism is about.
¿Quién sabe qué
What position y'all play? Pitcher? Everybody pitcher? Outfield? Center field, left field, right field? Left field? Pitcher? Second base? Who's the best out there?
¿Cuál es el mejor aquí? El mejor. Sí. They're all the best.
Everybody the best? Everybody the best?
You want to know if like those 1 year or
The whole field.
de todos?
Who's the best pitcher?
¿Cuál es el mejor pitcher de todos? Oh, yeah, from them. That's it.
Over there? That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What's his favorite? What's his best
Nah,
pitch?
I am.
What's his best pitch?
He's the best pitch.
What's his best pitch? What's his best pitch? Fastball, curveball. What's his best pitch? Curveball? You throw Cuba? See? What time you throw? Yeah. How old are you?
¿Cuántos años tiene? Oh, 16.
16?
Yeah.
16? I asked him if I can give them some clothes out the car.
Oh,
I said they want to get some clothes out the car.
él quiere saber si usted quiere alguna ropa.
That's what they want.
He said, if you want.
Let's go.
Go, man. We go African for his son. Yo, don't do it. Africa, you do too guys, bro.
Oh, anybody want to sneak it?
¿Quién quiere sostener?
Anybody want to sneak it? Take it. Yeah, take the sneakers. Take it. Anything. You welcome. Look in here. Look. How we gonna pass it out? Yeah, you pass the clothes out. You pass.
No, I don't pass.
So how I do it? So they just take it. So I did. Yeah, take. Just take. Just grab. Just take. Take something. Look in the bag. Get your phone.
It's my song.
What's your son?
You're playing.
Get some from him. Get some. Let me see. Hold it out, Fabi. Mira. Hold it out. Let me see. Yeah. Hold up. You got it? You like it? There we go.
Wait, take you.
You're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Pranya.
What position you play?
Like this.
Oh, pitcher. You're the pitcher. You're a pitcher. Your children out here?
No. I'm
No.
just watching.
Oh, you just watching? You just watching too?
Like
My name Afrika. Africa. Yeah, the continent. Yeah, continent. Hold up. Huh? Yeah. I'll come every year. I'll bring more stuff. I'll come. I'll bring everything every year. Yeah, we just started. We're coming with the organization. The organization
New African Black Panther
Party. So the Black Panther Party. So look, no politician, no rich person will take care of us. The only people that are going to take care of us is us. If we understand, understand that all we need to do is take care of each other, we're going to be good. Yeah. So you notice how all the companies, all the stores is owned by the gringos, Canada, Switzerland. We need to own it. We need to own everything so soon. You need to own stuff in Susua. You need to own Bailey's. You need to own Roomba. Yeah, we need to own all of that shit. Not nobody else. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But that's why I'm here. Everything we do is free. Everything is free. You don't pay. Yeah, you don't pay for nothing. I mean, this is my guy here. This is my guy, Subi. You know Subi? Yeah, this is my guy. He helped me out down here. I've been with this company for about 7 years, but it's been here since 1969. I'm the leader of the company. I'm the leader now of the organization. Yeah. So we come down. He's gonna be down here working down here in the organization for me. Yeah, he's gonna be here working here.
Also, do you visit Puerto Plata?
Yeah, I work Puerto Plata everywhere. I go everywhere. I stayed in.
I'm from Puerto Plata.
So you want to help me do this in Puerto Plata? I'm about to cut off the camera and I'm about to take your number. We're going to do the same thing. You know, the person that run the baseball, he helping me too.
I live next to baseball.
Man, what's your name, man? Tell them your name, man.
My name is Brian. I'm teacher of natural science.
Natural science?
Natural science.
Oh my God, I'm hitting a home run everywhere I go, man. Bobby, meet up. Good? You good? There we go. Biology? My God.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
All power to the people. All power to the people. We on Grown Folks Talking, man. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's doing good. Oh man, I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to get into it, man. But we gonna get into it today. We ain't got no choice but to get into it, so we gonna get into it. But I hope everybody's doing good. Welcome to All Power to the People on Grown Folks Talking. Express yourself. And there not many places where we could go out there and we could get our message out, where we could talk and really have conversations, sincere conversations of what's really going on in the world. This is probably the only space I know where you could go and have real serious conversation and talk about what's going on without having to lie, worry about getting fired, worry about anything else. Everywhere else, every other media source, platform, whether they call themselves independent, they all have limitations. Every single one of them. They have limitations on what they could say and how far they can really go and what they're saying. And most of the time, it's not even that. It's by and large their analysis. Their analysis, their mind state, where they're coming from, the perspective, because most of these people really don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. They just turn the camera on and just start giving their opinions. Hell, we don't do opinions here. Everything that we talk about here can be scientifically proven. Like, there's nothing here that's made up. First, we're going to go to the mile. We listen to Mao every week. Every week here, we've been going through the Mao. I think, General Secretary, is this the last chapters of this?
Yes, those are the last chapters.
Yeah, we're going through the last, I think 2 or 3 chapters of, 3 chapters. The last 3 chapters of quotations from Mao. Quotations from Mao. The first duty of a revolutionary is to what? To be educated. The first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. You can't walk around calling yourself a revolutionary. You could be an activist. People do activism for whatever, for all kinds of stuff. But you can't walk around calling yourself a revolutionary and you're not educated. You don't even understand what the word revolution means. I should have got a clip from Malcolm talking about what a revolution is. Like I forgot to even get that clip. But most people don't understand what a revolution is. I mean, so the first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. So we've been going through this. We've been reading this for the last couple of weeks now. I think we on, it's what, 30-something, 33? I mean, but today's going to be the last of it. It's really not that long. I'm about to go into it. And everything I just talking about, every week, every single week, the stuff that Mao is talking about in here is applicable to our reality, to the things that we're going through right now. And this, everything he talked about here, in this next 3 chapters goes right along what we're talking about. And I know you hear me saying chapters, you probably think it's big, but it's only a couple of minutes. It's a couple of minutes long. I'm going to play the audio. I'm going to stop it probably 3 times to talk about what he's talking about in the audio. But we're going to start from here, and then we're going to go on to the news of the day.
Chapter 31. Women. A man in China is usually subjected to the domination of 3 systems of authority: political authority, clan authority, and religious authority. As for women, in addition to being dominated by these 3 systems of authority, they are also dominated by the men, the authority of the husband. These 4 authorities, political, clan, religious, and masculine, are the embodiment of the whole feudal patriarchal ideology and system, and are the 4 thick ropes binding the Chinese people, particularly the peasants. How the peasants have overthrown the political authority of the landlords in the countryside has been described above. The political authority of the landlords is the backbone of all the other systems of authority. With that overturned, the clan authority, the religious authority, and the authority of the husband all begin to totter.
I don't know. I keep asking myself if I should go over what he just said. I mean, because, and I think I should. I'm going to bring it back real quick.
Chapter 30.
Yeah, because we're not feminists. As the Black Panther Party, as a card, we're not feminists. We don't believe in feminism. We use dialectic materialism to, by and large, understand the world that we're looking at. I want you to listen to this real quick, because we're Marxists. This is a Marxist. Mao is a Marxist, and it's explaining to you our ideology, or he's giving us, advice on how to better organize our organizations, or better whatever, like a better word, whatever. I'm gonna just play real quick.
1. Women. A man in China is usually subjected to the domination of 3 systems of authority: political authority, clan authority, and religious authority.
political, clan, and religious authority. These are the three authorities or institutions that are put in place to by and large control how we move in society. That's what he's saying. He's talking about this is for men.
As for women, in addition to being dominated by these three systems of...
As for women, even though I know I'm being whatever, but I need you to understand this.
Of authority, they are also dominated by the men, the authority of the husband.
They're also dominated by men. Remember, I just told you, we're not feminists, but we live in the real world. We live in reality. And what Mao was talking about was China during his time. Our patriarchy played a part in that space. I mean, when we say we are not feminists, we don't believe the problem in society or women's problems in society is men. It's men. It's all men. Men are the problem. So like we don't adhere to feminist ideology that when men are the one that are holding women back. Who is our enemy? If you've been here for the last couple of classes, if you've been to our political education classes, we all have but one enemy. All of us. Black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, whatever. Remember from the song? But anyway, we all have one enemy. And our enemy is imperialism. We understand there's patriarchy. We understand there are things like there are different classifications that people can fall under, like racism, all kind of different classifications that our oppression can fall under. But by and large, our enemy is imperialism. And imperialism is who is creating all these different factions, different classes, different silos of oppression. It's all coming from imperialism. They create this to divide the people. Because if the people are together and they understand that imperialism is the one that's oppressing them all, they will all focus their attention on imperialism. But when you break it down, you have somebody on this side that's talking about race. It's all the black. It's because I'm black. That's why they're coming for me. And then you have somebody that's over here that's saying, it's because I'm a woman. It's because I'm a woman. That's why they're coming for me. That's why you ain't never going to get to them. We never going to get to the person that's our real enemy, that's dividing us on all these different social stratification lines. I hope everybody understand that. Because when I say we're against feminism, that don't mean we're against women. We're against the theory of feminism. The theory of feminism, because they got a whole bunch of different theories of feminism. Like everything changes. Like church, you got all kinds of different denominations. But the basic idea that men are the reason why women are dealing with the material condition that they're dealing with, we find that to be false.
These four authorities, political, clan, religious, and masculine, are the embodiment of the whole feudal patriarchal ideology and system.
And he's saying, Mao was saying back then, all of this, like I just said, even though I just said we don't deal with feminism, but the world, how the world operates has no concern about how we feel or what our theory is. In reality, in the real world, there still is patriarchy. But we got to keep listening to see where it goes, because you got to get all sides of everything to have to fully understand.
There are the four thick ropes binding the Chinese people, particularly the peasants. How the peasants have overthrown the political authority of the landlords in the countryside has been described above. The political authority of the landlords is the backbone of all the other systems of authority. With that overturned, the clan authority, the religious authority, and the authority of the husband all begin to totter. As to the authority of the husband, this has always been weaker among the poor peasants because, out of economic necessity, their women folk have to do more manual labor than the women of the richer classes, and therefore have more say and greater power of decision in family matters.
All power to the people. Now, right there. Remember, I told you, I first started off saying, like, as party, as organization, we do not follow feminism. That is not the theory we follow. But listen to what he's saying right there. It's all dependent on the class level. If you have no money, you can't tell nobody what to do in this society, in this world. If you have no bread, if you have no housing, if you have nothing, if the woman has more money than you, by and large, you can't really tell her what to do, because she controls everything. And all she gotta do is she pick up the telephone, she call them, they coming over there. They don't even stop go. You don't get no bail, you're going straight to jail. Because when you listen to all these different media, the way they portray it, It's like women are living out here scared. Like people are just walking around knocking women upside their head and nothing is going on. People brutalizing women. Hey, yo, bro, I live in Newark, New Jersey. If my woman, if my girlfriend, my wife, anybody, they pick up the phone and they call the police and they say like this, that, Africa did this, but they'll be here, boop, boop, I'm going straight to jail. Don't pass go. That has been my experience in this society. And most of the people that I know in this society, I mean, the only people where you hear this different is through the media, when you listen to this corporate media, and they try to tell us a reality that we are not living in. But the reality that we're living in, if you have no money, you can't control or tell any woman what to do. Like, you forget about it. It's a wrap. I mean, if anybody disagrees with me, they could come on, you come and tell me. You could tell me where somebody that don't have no money, that don't have nothing, could be able to tell somebody that has the money, a woman that has the money. And in our communities, women have most of the jobs. Women are the breadwinners at home in our communities. So are you telling me the reason for these women suffering are the men in the community, that they have more resources than they're the one that's making them suffer? Nah, it's imperialism. Imperialism is the one that's targeting you, that has you in that in those stratification lines where they get to exploit you how they want. It's imperialism. I mean, but that doesn't mean we don't see patriarchy. We don't see a system where men are put in place of power over women, but not all men. You gotta look at everything. I don't know what's going on in my eye, but you gotta look at everything from all sides. Men at the bottom, poor men, they by and large have no ability to control or have say so in anything. In anything. That's why when we talk about Cassie, what's going on with Puffy, all of that stuff, women like Cassie, they understand. They understand patriarchy. They understand the system we live in. They take that money. They take that money to put up with whatever those rich men do. And in our reality, in the world that we live in, which masculinity is by and large judged by how much money you have, what you can provide, the resources you have. And so while Puffy can run around kicking Cassie, kicking her in the hallway, stomping her, abusing her, doing whatever he wants, whatever he want to do, because he got the money, he got the bread to have her keep coming back, and she keep coming back for that bread, for that lifestyle. But he's doing it, not just him, all of them. All these people with money, they use money to hold power over everybody, not just women, men, all of us. They use their money to hold power over all of us. And by and large, there's nothing you can really do in this system. There's nothing you can do to fight that back, because that's the world that they have created. Those in power have created. They've created a world where money runs everything. But like I said, even though we understand this, we understand patriarchy still exists. Our theory at the end of the day is not feminism, because then it will be incomplete. We're not looking at all sides of everything. We're not looking at every side. Like I said, if you're poor, you're a man, you don't have nothing, you barely making enough to pay rent, you're not controlling no woman, you have no force over no woman. You can't determine nothing in that woman's life. I mean, but just think about it for a minute, what Mao is talking about. When they talk about Mao, when they talk about cultist behavior, that Marxism is evil, listen to what Mao, this is what Mao is telling you from the Red Book. This is the Red Book that they call, oh my God, it's so bad, communism. But what is Mao saying in the book? You're listening to the book for yourself. And Mao is saying, even though we go through this as men, if women have it even worse than us. Because although they go through all of that, they still got to deal with men. They got to deal with a society where men are by and large in control of their lives. Then it goes on further right here to state which kind of men. Because we say the issue is imperialism. And he's breaking it down into class. And we just started this just now. We just started it.
With the increasing bankruptcy of the rural economy in recent years, the basis for men's domination over women has already been undermined. With the rise of the peasant movement, the women in many places have now begun to organize rural women's associations. The opportunity has come for them to lift up their heads, and the authority of the husband is getting shakier every day. In a word, the whole feudal patriarchal ideology and system is tottering with the growth of the peasant's power. Unite and take part in production and...
You hear that? The people get stronger through education. As the people start to get smarter, all those chains that held them are broken away. And when you remove the economic element, we start to become more equal. It doesn't matter what sex you are, what gender. Which, like, it adds on to the argument again that our problem is imperialism. Is that money, that the access, who has money, access to that money, who is in control, who is in power. That's the issue. It is not just men against women. And we have to understand that. Remember, the first duty for a revolutionary is to be educated. If you're walking around thinking women are your problem, black women are your problem, whatever women are your problem, all day you're going around like this issues ain't shit, is this women, this, you have a limited understanding of what's going on. You need political education. If you walk around thinking men are the problem, if you get rid of all men, we're going to be all right, then you have a limit. There's a limit to your understanding of what's going on. You don't have a full grasp. And you need, matter of fact, by me saying that, hey, yo, Love, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All power to the people. Hey, yo, man, I told the General Secretary when you sent me a text, I told her to check out your tests and stuff. And she said you had a full grasp of the material, man. She said she looked through it. She said she's not done with it yet. But she said you did real good. You did real well. You heard?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
All power. I ain't ignore you, bro. As soon as you sent that text, I sent it right over. You feel me?
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure.
All power to the people. But yeah, you hear what Mao was saying, man. I'm gonna keep playing.
Political activity to improve the economic and political status of women. Protect the interests of youth, women, and children. Provide assistance to young student refugees in order to participate on an equal footing in all work useful to the war effort and its social progress.
All refugees. What we doing to immigrants now? All refugees. I mean, take care of the refugees too. Provide for them too. I mean, listen to what Mao was saying. Like, what in the world that we living in? Can you see why they would tell you not to listen to a Mao? It contradicts everything that this society is doing. How it treats women, how it treats immigrants, how it treats everybody.
Ensure freedom of marriage and equality as between men and women, and give young people and children a useful education. In agricultural production, our fundamental task is to adjust the use of labor power in an organized way and to encourage women to do farm work. In order to build a great socialist society, it is of the utmost importance to arouse the broad masses of women to join in productive activity. Men and women must receive equal pay for equal work in production. Genuine equality between the sexes can only be realized in the process of the socialist transformation of society as a whole. With the completion of agricultural cooperation, many cooperatives are finding themselves short of labor. It has become necessary to arouse the great mass of women who did not work in the fields before to take their place on the labor front. China's women are a vast reserve of labor power. This reserve should be tapped in the struggle to build a great socialist country. Enable every woman who can work to take her place.
My bad, y'all. That's me. Enable every woman who can work to take her place
On the labor front. Under the principle of equal pay for equal work, this should be done as quickly as possible. Chapter 32. Culture and Art. In the world today, all culture, all literature and art belong to definite classes and are geared to definite political lines. There is, in fact, no such thing as art for art's sake. Art that stands above classes. Art that is detached from or independent of politics. Proletarian literature and art are part of the whole proletarian revolutionary cause. They are, as Lenin said, detached from or independent of politics, geared to definite political...
No, this is very important too. In the world we are in, we're saturated. Everywhere you turn, we're saturated with art. Yo, my children can go in the shower without playing music. Yo, all they do is listen to music. There's social media all day. They're consuming this stuff. All of it is art. All of it is art. Even the news, the propaganda that we commit, the independent news, all this stuff that they call it. Yo, we are saturated with propaganda because that's what all of that is. And he's breaking it down right now, and he's telling us how we should view this propaganda. I need you to listen because it's important. It also plays into the stuff that we're dealing with now, with hip-hop, with rap, with the music, with everything, the information that they're giving us, the stuff that's coming out of their
Culture
mouth.
and art. In the world today, all culture, all literature and art belong to definite classes and are geared to definite political lines.
All art, everything belongs to different classes. Like hip hop. Hip hop came from poor people. It came from poor black people in the hood. That's where hip hop, rap, all this stuff came from. It belonged to them. I mean, but it has been co-opted. Nobody that listens to hip hop, that knows hip hop, that's a student of hip hop, will tell you hip hop belongs to the people on the ground, to the poor people. Nobody will tell you that. Hip hop belongs to the people, the record companies, the distributors, the platforms. That's who own all of this. That's who control everything. That's who controls the propaganda, that controls the message, that control what goes out, what we hear, what we consume, and make sure it keeps out what they don't want us to hear, what they don't want us to consume. So now you thinking like, yeah, I'm free. I live in America. I'm free. I listen to whatever. I do whatever I want. You know, everything that you listen to, everything that you see, everything is all propaganda, and it's all controlled by one class, the class that has the power, the resources, the money to be able to control that space, to own that stuff. Like, yeah, you in America, you free. You ain't never getting a football team. You ain't never getting a TV channel. Yeah, I said it. I know people like, oh my God, you gonna say you ain't never getting nothing. You're never getting a mansion. By and large, according to the numbers, according to the data, you're born poor, you're gonna die poor. Period. That's the world we live in. There's no social mobility here. You're not mobility to nothing. You're gonna mobile from one project to the other, and then after a couple of years, you're gonna come back to the same project where you was at before. Boomerang child. That's the world we live in. We're not living in a world where you just climb like you come from the ghetto, like you just gonna go ahead and go get a mansion. No, for you to do all of that, you got to go through the process. You got to produce propaganda or work that the imperialists deem necessary for them to make money off. That's how capitalism works, and that's what you're gonna do. So if they ask you to shoe shuffle, they want you to be like Jay-Z. You're gonna shoe shuffle and be like, the time for kneeling is over, for you to be able to get access. I think LeBron James was posted that he stand with Israel. Floyd Mayweather, these people stand with Israel. They could see them bombing people, blowing up children. They stand with them because they know that's how they get access to white supremacy, access to imperialism. That's how this thing here works. You see, there's no other space where you're going to go to and you're going to hear this. Everybody else, by and large, is scared. Especially if they want to be in those spaces, they're scared to tell the truth, because then those doors are going to be closed to them. I'm not trying to go in them doors. I ain't beef for them doors. I'm straight where I'm at. So I say what I want. It is what it is. I could fight. Man.
There is, in fact, no such thing as art for art's sake. Art that stands above classes. Art that is detached from or independent of politics. Proletarian literature and art are part of the whole proletarian revolutionary literature and art are part of the whole art that is detached from or...
Right here. Art that is detached from or independent of politics. Think about that. There is no art that's detached from politics, that's detached from anything. Yo, you thinking like you listen to your little rap, you listen to whoever shoot 'em up, gun or whatever on your little phone, you think like these people like they're not political. Yo, the words that are coming out their mouth, the energy that they're giving, the ideas that they're giving, what they're talking about, it is all political. It is all political, and it's allowed to filter in and come out to you so you can take it in, and your children could take it in. They could all take it in and consume that, absorb that propaganda. I mean, so if you walking around and you thinking like, yo, like I'm on what you call, I'm apolitical, yo, I don't do that political stuff, you're lying to yourself. Just by you saying I don't do the political stuff, you're being political. You're being willfully stupid, willfully ignorant. I don't do that political. I don't do politics. Politics doing you. And right here, Mao is telling us everything is political. Everything.
Or independent of politics. Proletarian literature and art are part of the whole proletarian revolutionary cause. They are, as Lenin said, cogs and wheels in the whole revolutionary machine. Revolutionary culture is a powerful revolutionary weapon for the broad masses of the people. It prepares the ground ideologically before the revolution comes and is an important, indeed essential, fighting front in the general revolutionary front during the revolution. All our literature and art are for the masses of the people, and in the first place for the workers, peasants, and soldiers. They are created for the workers, peasants, and soldiers, and are for their use.
False. Look, you feel me? Like with us, that's how it's supposed to be. The art, hip-hop, our music, everything is for the people. It's for the people. But I just told you, these platforms, these spaces would not allow anything that's counter to what imperialism is pushing. So all the music, everything you get is propaganda for them. I took a trip and I was with my man Poet a few months ago. Me and my man Poet was together. We call him Poet because he used to rap. If you in Newark, he used to be on Lyons Avenue at the supermarket. He was there for years, selling his own CDs. He used to go rap, cut them up, everything, come sell them. For years, when we was young, we was in middle school, high school, he was rapping. Yeah, Poet was nice. I was talking to Poet, and I was telling him, and I told him my music, like, man, I ain't even beat for rap no more. I ain't trying to rap no more. He's like, yo, I'm too old. I'm trying to explain to him, it's not even about you being too old to rap. It's your ability to put words together. Like, you a poet. Like, I don't even know how to do that. I'm like, I wish I had learned how to rap. I'm like, cause that ability to put those words together and do that, like you could make people see pictures that I couldn't. And he was like, man, I don't care. All I care about is making money. To him, it was like the whole rap, him rapping, everything was just about making money. I sent my man a link. I sent him a link and I told him to come to the show. Because I thought about our conversation while I was getting ready for the show. Not like, yo, I'm going to bring that up. I mean, but he didn't care. He don't care about the art. I mean, like, he be laughing at me, looking at me like I'm stupid, because I'm telling him how important the art is. Yo, these artists, these entertainers, these news figures, these politicians, everybody in society, they don't care about the art of anything that they're doing. All they care about is the resources, the money that they could gain. Don't nobody go to school to learn nothing. People go to school so they could make money. That's the world that we live in. That's the material conditions, the real world outside. Don't nobody do nothing if it's not for money. By and large, I mean, I don't know everybody, but it's people out there that probably do stuff because it's not about money. But everybody do stuff because of money. And Mao is saying, like, we have to have art that speaks for the people. Yo, I'll be looking for people that do art that speaks to the people. But everybody I know, all the artists I know, they want to make money. They want to, and their art is how they're gonna make money. So those platforms, to control all of them, to control all of us, they pick the ones that they want to put on there, whose music they want to go out, and the kind of music that they want to go out. So all the artists start to understand this is the music. Because me and Poet was talking, and Poet telling me, like, yo, I started learning how to write music by listening, because he's listening and seeing what's getting played, what's getting money. So now if you want to get money, if you want to be in that space, you got to narrow your information to what they want on their platforms. And now you're pushing propaganda. You may not know it, you know it. Internally you know it. But you're pushing propaganda for imperialism, for the state. I hope I'm making this crystal for people to understand what I'm saying. I mean, because I understand in my mind, but like sometimes how it come out in my mind don't come out in my mouth, but pause.
Our literary and art workers must accomplish this task and shift their stand. They must gradually move their feet over to the side of the workers, peasants, and soldiers. to the side of the proletariat through the process of going into their very midst and into the thick of practical struggles, and through the process of studying Marxism in society. Only in this way can we have a literature and art that are truly for the workers, peasants, and soldiers, a truly proletarian literature and art. Our purpose is to ensure that literature and art fit well into the whole revolutionary machine as a component part, that they operate as powerful weapons for uniting and educating the people, and for attacking and destroying the enemy, and that they help the people fight the enemy with one heart and one mind.
Do you hear that? You just imagine if all these artists, yo, were really pumping. That's what they was pumping out. Imagine when you put like everybody, all this 40, 35, 40 years, 40 and over, 50 and over 60. Yo, they love Jay-Z. They love Jay-Z. Imagine if Jay-Z was pumping out that real revolutionary talk. Imagine all these artists that we look at, like we talking about, like these are black artists, like Snoop, all these people that you look at. Even you talk about now, Gunna this, Gangsta Thug, Nificent, all these new rappers, whatever their name is, Young Money, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If they were pushing out revolutionary stuff, talking about gentrification, how it's affecting the people in the community. You're coming in the community to understand what gentrification really is. Not that people can't afford their rent, that they illegally doubling and tripling their rent. Illegally. The sheriff department not even coming kicking people out. The landlord don't fix the water. They don't fix the heat. And people, after a while, people just leave on their own. Like all these things that they're doing. Like they can raise your rent every year. Like how is that even legal? If the politicians are working for the people, how are they even allowing all these things to take place? How are they allowing corporations, slumlords that come in the community to be able to raise the rent every year? And that's legal. How is that legal? They allow companies to hire illegal immigrants in there, and then while they're hiring the illegal immigrants, paying them $5, $6, $7, the people that's supposed to be working in there making $20, $25 an hour, they're upset. Now they're mad at the immigrants. But if the politicians are working for us, how are they allowing all of these things to happen? Because they don't work for us, stupid. They work for imperialism. It don't matter if they're a man, it don't matter if they're a woman, it don't matter if they're gay, it don't matter nothing. It don't matter if they're man, woman, and gay. All of it at once. It don't matter. They still will do nothing for the people. Because the system itself is the problem. And the system itself is not politics. You need to understand that. The electoral process is not politics. Your politics is the struggle for resources. Like we're struggling for the resources. Us and the imperialists are struggling. We on one side, they on one side. They trying to get, we trying to get. But when you go work for them, when you go into their institutions, you're not practicing politics. You're not. That's where we at. Let me claim mine, man, because I'm going to keep talking forever.
In literary and art criticism, there are two criteria, the political and the artistic. There is the political criterion, and there is the artistic criterion. What is the relationship between the two? Politics cannot be equated with art, nor can a general world outlook be equated with a method of artistic creation and criticism. We deny not only that there is an abstract and absolutely unchangeable political criterion, but also that there is an abstract and absolutely unchangeable artistic criterion. Each class in every class society has its own political and artistic criteria, but all classes in all class societies invariably put the political criterion first and the artistic criterion second. What we demand is the use...
What do you mean by that? They put the politics of the government, the hegemony, whatever the government wants, that is what comes first before the art. So whatever, if your art is about gentrification, if the politics of that space is gentrifying that space, your art will not be heard by those platforms, those spaces that disseminate, that put the information out, that play your music. They won't play your music if they're cool with gentrification, if they're in business with all the other imperialists. You see, they're organized together while we over here separated, fighting amongst ourselves. which is why we have this. That is why we're sitting here, because we're trying to find ways to organize the masses of the people. So we're sitting here, we're going through the red book, we're here talking to you, trying to get you to understand. Those of you that listen to this, those of you that this reach. And while I'm saying this, our YouTube page, you go to our YouTube page, we don't have a whole bunch of followers. We're not on a big space where all our stuff is being pushed out. Only we can push this stuff out. Only we could share this to try to get the numbers up, for us to do something about what's going on in our world, in our society. See, but we're here every Sunday to bring you this information, to have this conversation, to try to find people that are serious about changing the world outside. Because if we reach one person, that's one person that we didn't reach before. And that's what our duty is as Panthers, to cast a wide net and find all those people that we can work with to change the conditions outside. You're not going to hear none of the stuff we talking about anywhere out there. No show, no political show, no independent that is going to be reading Mal and breaking it down and going through it and then putting it together with what we're going through now. They're too afraid. Even if they're educated enough to know about Mal, they're too afraid to talk about Mal, to talk about the other way, the other option, other than the reality that we live in. People too scared to talk about that because they want to keep their government jobs. They want to keep their nonprofit NGO money. So they're not talking about what the people are going through.
Unity of politics and art. The unity of content and form. The unity of revolutionary political content and the highest possible perfection of artistic form. Works of art which lack artistic quality have no force, however progressive they are politically. Therefore, we oppose both works of art with a wrong political viewpoint and a tendency towards the poster and slogan style, which is correct in political viewpoint, but lacking in artistic power. On questions of literature and art, we must carry on a struggle on two fronts. Letting 100 flowers blossom and 100 schools of thought contend is the policy for promoting the progress of the arts and the sciences and a flourishing social arts and the sciences and a flourishing socialist culture. 100 schools of thought.
Right, I'm trying to bring this back real quick.
Letting 100 flowers.
Right there, letting 100 flowers blossom in 100 schools of thought. This, like, when they say Mao is a cult, Marxism is a cult, everything that Marxism talks about is allowing ideas to flourish. That's what he's talking about with the 100 flowers blossom, like just allowing ideas, all different ideas. We stand for ideological struggle, because that's the only way we progress, that we move forward, when we have these struggles as people, as human beings, as a community. When we have this struggle, when we talk things out, that's what makes it so different from many species. But capitalism does not allow that. Like I told you, everything that you hear, everything that you consume, is already been prepackaged and prepared for us to hear it. There's no ability to combat the narrative or fight back on anything that's being pushed out there on those platforms, because everybody by and large believe the same thing. They're on the same path. How many Democrats you seen out there against the war, against the World War III that's about to start? How many Democrats? Do you see do you see the Democratic Party out here? Do you see them impeaching Trump? Do you see them talking about impeachment of Trump? You about to start a world war. You telling me paying a woman for sex, getting head in the Oval Office, all these things you can get impeached for, but you don't get impeached for starting illegal wars, for blowing up children, for blowing up people, human beings, hundreds, thousands, all these people dead because of lies. You don't get impeached. Nobody gets impeached. Nobody gets held accountable. Like, that makes sense to you? The only sense that it could make is these people control the world. They control everything. They control the courts. They control the legal system. These imperialists. So they could do whatever they want to do, and nobody, it doesn't matter what you say, they're not listening to you. Not until we all get organized. Because without the people, they have nothing. And that's why we do this show, to try to find the people. But Marxism When we talk about Pantherism, we believe in ideological struggle. We don't believe in shutting people up and telling them don't speak. When we come here, I tell people, like, yo, it's a conversation. Let's talk. Let's share these ideas. Let's put these ideas on the table and see where we go from here. That's not how communism, that's not how imperialism, that's not how these people do anything around here.
Arts blossom and 100 schools of thought contend is the policy for promoting the progress of the arts and the sciences and a flourishing socialist culture in our land. Different forms and styles in art should develop freely, and different schools in science should contend freely. We think that it is harmful to the growth of art and science if administrative measures are used to impose one particular style of art or school of thought and to ban another. Questions of right and wrong in the arts and sciences should be settled through free discussion in artistic and scientific circles, and through practical work in these fields. They should not be settled in summary fashion. An army without culture is a dull-witted army, and a dull-witted army cannot defeat the enemy. Chapter 33. Study. In transforming a backward agricultural China into an advanced industrialized country, we are confronted with arduous tasks, and our experience is far from adequate, so we must be good at learning. Conditions are changing all the time, and to adapt one's thinking to the new conditions, one must study. Even those who have a better grasp of Marxism and are comparatively firm in their proletarian stand have to go on studying, have to absorb what is new and study new problems. We can learn what we did not know. We are not only good at destroying the old world, we are also good at building the new. Now, there are two different attitudes towards learning from others. One is the dogmatic attitude of transplanting everything, whether or not it is suited to our conditions. This is no good. The other attitude is to use our heads and learn those things which suit our conditions. That is, to absorb whatever experience is useful to us. That is the attitude we should adopt. The theory of Marx, Engels, Lenin, and Stalin is universally applicable. We should regard it not as a dogma, but as a guide to action. Studying it is not merely a matter of learning terms and phrases, but of learning Marxism-Leninism as the science of revolution. It is not just a matter of understanding the general laws derived by Marx, Engels, Lenin, and Stalin from their extensive study of real life and revolutionary experience, but of studying their standpoint and method in examining and solving problems. If we have a correct theory but merely prate about it, pigeonhole it, and do not put it into practice, then that theory, however good, is of no significance. It is necessary to master Marxist theory and apply it. Master it for the sole purpose of applying it. If you can apply the Marxist-Leninist viewpoint in elucidating one or two practical problems, you should be commended and credited with some achievement. The more problems you elucidate and the more comprehensively you profoundly do so, the greater will be your achievement. How is Marxist-Leninist theory to be linked with the practice of the Chinese Revolution? To use a common expression, it is by shooting the arrow at the target. As the arrow is to the target, so is Marxism-Leninism to the Chinese Revolution. Some comrades, however, are shooting without a target, shooting at random, and such people are liable to harm the revolution. Those experienced in work must take up the study of theory, and must read seriously. Only then will they be able to systematize and synthesize their experience and raise it to the level of theory. Only then will they not mistake their partial experience for universal truth, and not commit empiricist errors.
Nah, what I was just talking about, both sides, all sides, understanding all sides. That's what he's talking about. I mean, being able to understand all sides, and not just your experience. You think that's how the whole world works. No, your experience is not the whole world. Your experience is but one outlook, one prism to see the totality of everything. You have to understand all-sidedness, all sides of the equation before you make an analysis. And like I said, the first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. We're not dummies. I have 3 degrees myself. Keeping it a buck with you, like I went through the system. I went to prison, came back from prison, and then went back to college and got 3 degrees. I mean, to verify, because at first, like, I was trying to verify that everything that I was reading in this book that I was studying was real. Like, it was true. Like, I couldn't believe it at first. Like, nah, this can't be true. Nah, this can't, like, what? Then I had to go back to school. So I go back to school to go study how the society is built, why it works the way it works, and all of that. The first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. I'm not telling nobody to go back to college, because by and large, those institutions are not there to really educate you. If you end up getting lost, spent around, and turned out, don't know what's going on. By the time I went back to college, like I understood what my purpose is, where I was going, and I knew I was going there to go learn something. So my mind was focused on what I was going to go learn. People don't go to school for that, and I saw it when I went in there. I mean, I saw it from my experience, and then from studying about it, from getting a degree in sociology. Yeah, people don't go to school to learn. They're not trying to learn nothing. Yo, it's sociologists that don't even understand what school of sociology that they're in. You ask them, they don't even know, because they didn't go there to study. Just because you go to school for sociology, I don't mean you know anything about sociology. People just go in there and cheat your way out of there. Just take the test and don't retain nothing. Man.
Chairman,
Yo.
I was just thinking about those countries that like have free education and stuff like that. I believe those people are actually going to school to learn because they don't have to worry about paying those students debt. So like a country like Iran, they can pump out millions and millions of scientists, as opposed to us, we have a problem with getting people to pass basic math.
Nah, that's true. And you could look at it. You could look at it. The studies. The children don't know how to read. They don't know how to count. How you going to do anything? How you going to study anything if you don't know how to read? You don't know how to count. You can't really do no studying. But they show you all these schools for decades been failing the community, and these people keep getting promoted. All of that.
Reading is learning, but applying is also learning, and the more important kind of learning at that. Our chief method is to learn warfare through warfare. A person who has had no opportunity to go to school can also learn warfare. He can learn through fighting in warfare. A person size their experience and raise it to the level of theory. Only then will they not mistake their partial experience for universal truth and not commit empiricist errors. Reading is learning.
Reading is learning. Reading is learning. But applying it is also learning. So when you get all this information in, so when I went to school, I got 3 degrees on what you call it. Like, how do you apply that? So I know all that. I got all the book, put the book in my head. So now how you apply it in the real world? How you apply all that stuff that you learn in the real world for it to be practical, to put it into practical use? How? That's why we have our food program. The people are hungry. Yo, when I went to go study, it says you have to have a food program. You have to be able to give food out to people. If you want to reach them, you want to talk to them. The kids are not being educated. It's like they can't read. The study saying they can't read. Yo, you got to create programs. Necessity is the mother of what? People need after-school programs. We have to create them. This is what you learn. You go and you learn. So now after you learn that, you put that into practice and you apply it to try to organize. And then while you're applying it, you know what you learn? You learn like, yo, all these kids I'm working with for like 4 or 5 years, yo, gentrification come in and they all move. So first you go to school and you get the book and you learn about the institutions and building all these programs. And then when you start to apply that theory, the stuff that you've learned, you see things like how gentrification impacts it. Now, what do I mean by that? Imagine you have a kid from when they're in kindergarten, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. You've been every single day of their life, you're in their life for free. You're guiding them, helping them in their life, teaching them how to read, tying their sneakers, wiping their nose. You're working with this kids all the way, and then boom, like 3 or 4 of them got to move. Next year, 3 or 4 of them got to move. So like to build the organization and to build revolutionary pockets in the community and society, it takes doing all of that work. But then when you have things like gentrification, when you have different things that come in that play a part in it, so in practice, you see how it's working. You have to deal with all of those different things, and that's what he's talking about right here. Applying is also learning. Because when you start to apply it, when I start to apply the things that I've learned from school, I start to learn and see how that works with the society that's in place already, or the social construct that's in place already. And now I'm learning how to fix that to be able to make what I'm doing more successful. That's what he's talking about. And most of the time, the people that we see on platforms, like for them to they say news or they give out personalities, whatever they call themselves doing. These people have no theory, haven't practiced it, have no idea what they're talking about. But those are the only people that you're allowed to hear. So now you're walking around parroting what they're saying, what CNN, MSNBC, Fox, what these people are saying, when they're all paid liars and frauds. All of them. There are no good people there. There are no good people. There are no good cops. There are no good nothing. There are no good politicians. All these people work for the system to undermine you. So don't nobody want to hear like there's some bad apples and some. No, the entire institutions of policing is there to control the people. They're armed agents of the states. The politician is not armed, but that cop is armed. They're armed agents of the state. They all work to serve the states. And you could go how deep that rabbit hole goes, because when you start to understand, teachers serve the state. When you start to understand all these people serve the state, you see the hell you in. How deep the rabbit hole goes.
But applying is also learning, and the more important kind of learning at that. Our chief method is to learn warfare through warfare. A person who has had no opportunity to go to school can also learn warfare. He can learn through fighting in war. A revolutionary war is a mass undertaking. It is often not a matter of first learning and then doing, but of doing and then learning. For doing...
That's where I used to be. I used to be down City Hall. I used to be with the politicians. I used to go to the school board council meetings. They had the school board meetings was twice a month. The council meetings was twice a month. I was at both of them, doing everything else we was doing. And I used to go to these spaces thinking like this is what it meant to be politically active, being in these spaces. Then you start to realize, because now you're doing, you're not just learning. Because I went to school, got the degrees, learned all that. Then you get to this space and you start to do, and then you understand this is not politics at all. See, that's the book I was supposed to be writing. That whole process, my whole process of going through the system, understanding what happens in City Hall is not politics. What happens at the school board meeting, the council meeting, none of these things are politics. You have one group of people that's inside the machine, and you have another group of people that's outside the machine, and they're trying to enter the machine. And they believe that that's politics. Rather than understanding the struggle for resources, if we really understood that, nobody would be down in City Hall. Nobody will enter through those doors, because they'll understand those doors, going through those doors will give you nothing. Will give you nothing. But if the people outside them doors organize together, that building, it collapses. City Hall is done. Those politicians are done. Because now the imperialists will understand they can no longer use them. They're useless to them because the people don't believe in their institutions, don't believe in their power. And once the people don't believe in their power, they're done. Because that means the people are organizing outside of them, outside of their construct, to be able to survive, to take care of themselves. Once you do that, you create a revolution. That's revolution. Changing the dynamics, the power dynamics. That's a revolution. Not reform, not getting cameras on your uniform and then so you can record the lynchings, the assassinations. That's not revolution. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for cameras except for these people, these politicians. Think of all the ideas they asked for. We don't want that. The people didn't ask for nothing these politicians asked for or demand. Laws they passed. Hey, yo, you know what? Yo, don't nobody vote no more because they don't believe in our school system. Hey, yo, let's make it sure that the kids could vote. Who came up with that idea? The reason why the people not voting because they see that no matter what they do, you're not listening to them. So how is their kids voting going to do anything? But you got people like Haygood, whatever his name is. You got what's her name that worked for the NAACP, Gregory. All these people need to be dead and gone already, bro. Like they're just in the way. And they come and tell the community what you want is your children to go vote. That's what's going to change the curriculum. That's what's going to change the grades, going to change what the children are learning. And they really think we're all that stupid to just go along with it. But we're really not stupid. We know better. We're just not organized. We're just not organized.
Is itself learning. There is a gap between the ordinary civilian and the soldier, but it is no great wall, and it can be quickly closed. And the way to close it is to take part in revolution, in war. By saying that it is not easy to learn and to apply, we mean that it is hard to learn thoroughly and to apply skillfully. By saying that civilians can very quickly become soldiers, we mean that it is not difficult to cross the threshold. To put the two statements together, we may cite the Chinese adage, "Nothing in the world is difficult for one who sets his mind to it." To cross the threshold is not difficult, and mastery, too, is possible provided one set one's mind to the task and is good at learning. We must learn to do economic work from all who know how, no matter who they are. We must esteem them as teachers, learning from them respect.
Hey, Captain Patience, you here?
Yes.
Oh, you heard what he just said just now? I'm going to bring it back because I know you ain't hear it. So I'm going to bring it back. Did you hear it?
I'm listening.
I'm going to bring it back. Hold on, let me bring it back real quick. That's why I'll be bringing it back.
And mastery, too, is possible provided one set one's mind to the task and is good at learning. We must learn to do economic work from all who know how, no matter who they are.
Hey, you heard me, Captain?
Yes.
You heard what he just said just now?
Yes.
We must learn how to do economic work from all who know how. You know, remember I posted the kid problem stuff, and he was saying, like, we just trying to get money, like, from whoever know how to get money, like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
I understand what you were saying about the post too, but the what you call it? But when I posted it, I was thinking about this part of it too, like that we got to do economic work. Like I understand that he probably not looking at it, kid problem, and looking at it from a Marxist point of view. Like he looking at it like, yo, I just got to build relationships with people that have access to capital. He's not thinking about how to create an economic system outside of imperialism. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's still the same thing. It's not the same thing, but at the end of the day, we have to create an economic center to be able to take care of ourselves as a people. And the reason why it's not the same thing as what he's saying is because he think building those relationships with imperialists. You see this? I'm just saying. I'm assuming this. What he was thinking when he said what he said. But building these relationships with imperialists is how you become successful. That's what he would think. I mean, that's what he would say. But all of that takes just having conversation, ideological struggle. I mean,
Peace. Can I join in?
Yeah, you can join in. What's up?
What I've noticed is most people, when they get into an economic endeavor, they really are looking for opportunity. They really it's really, for the most part, I see it as an individualistic journey for economic gain, as opposed to a system that could uplift the whole.
Nah, all power to the people. Exactly. Well, then that's the difference right there. That's the catch.
We must esteem them as teachers, learning from them respectfully and conscientiously. We must not pretend to know when we do not know. Knowledge is a matter of science, and no dishonesty or conceit whatsoever is permissible. What is required is definitely the reverse: honesty and modesty.
Right there. If you want to learn that honesty and modesty is big, you got to be real with yourself, because you're going to come against information that go against everything that you believe, everything that you've been told to believe your whole entire life. Are you going to be honest, and are you going to be modest with that information that you're getting? That's the key, because everybody can have access to the information, but what is your motivation? Are you being honest to it, or are you just getting it for whatever other reason other than being honest and being real and understanding what you're getting in, like what you're trying to know? I mean, that's right here. This is what separates a true revolutionary and all these frauds. These people that act like they're revolutionary, but they're con men. From Ras Baraka to Akil Kalfani at Essex County College to Bashir Akinyele. All these people are class cons. They're conning us. They're conning us. And they're not honest. They're not true. I remember Akil asked me, I was in his office at Essex County College, Akil Kalfani, and he asked me, like, do you think I'm a sellout? Negro, you work at Essex County College. You've been here, like, for decades. You're asking me if you are Uncle Tom? You work for these institutions. You push out what these institutions want you to push out. And you're not just working here. They done gave you a whole wing. They done gave you a whole section. You had this thing for a minute. You don't bring no real revolutionaries there to speak. You bring people, your people with them degrees on the same level that you on with the doctorates. I mean, these professional sellouts. These are the people that you bring to come speak at your event, or people that you have a relationship with. You don't bring people from the community that are actual revolutionaries, Kalfani.
Now that we're here, can I ask a question, please?
I'd like to ask.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, we go ask the question. Go ahead.
We'll tell you. You go first.
Okay. What's the take on people who think that they're in a revolution because they're educated, so they're using education as their way of being a part of, or saying that this I've done my job? Because some people they use that, like, I'm a teacher, so that's my whatever. What is your perspective on that?
Hey, yo, they use that to mask what they really are. These people are traitors. I mean, they're in these institutions because they've given up on building institutions for the people. So they're giving this bribery money. They pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to work in these institutions. I've been to Kalfani House. That boy got a fireplace. He got a whole backyard outside, I think in South Orange or West Orange, whatever. I've been around these people. I mean, so while we talking about getting kicked out of Spires in the ghetto, these people are worried about paying their mortgage in the communities that they live in. I mean, so they're not worrying about people in the hood. So they cloak themselves. They mask themselves with this history, with this Baragani, with this Ashant, whatever. They learn all these terms to try to convince the people that they know. They know more than the people because they have all these degrees. They're the ones that we should listen to. I mean, but they could have all them degrees. What Fred Hampton said, as much as thermometer, they can walk the street and chew bubble gum. I mean,
Fred Hampton and George Jackson said the same thing.
Word up. They could do all that. These people are traitors to our people. Yo, what you about to say, Basil?
You made me forget. I'll come back.
I'll
be back.
And I'm almost done with this right here. But I'm not even ashamed to say this. Yo, my mentor was Dr. Kalfani. When I first walked out of prison, and I went back to school. I went to Essex County College. That's the first place I went. When I got there, one of the first people I met was Dr. Kalfani in my classes. Him, Professor Nash. I'm going through these classes with them. Because I took Black History classes. I took I think Kalfani was teaching African sociology or something like that. I don't know what he was teaching, but like that's how I took his class. And after I taking his class, because my major was psychology, he persuaded me to change my major to sociology because I told him I really wanted to. He asked me like, why are you going to school for psychology? And I told him I wanted to understand how the world functioned. He was like, then you might as well go into sociology. He told me he was a sociology grad. He got a degree in sociology. So since I met him, like he seemed like he knew all this stuff. He had a book written. He had all these connections. I was listening. I was listening to him. But we used to have conversations in his office all the time. I used to go there because the stuff I used to be reading, like he'll give us stuff to read, and I'll read it, and it'll be contradictory to what the stuff that he be talking about, that they be talking about in real world. So we'll sit down in his office, and we'll have a discussion about all of it. But one of our last discussions, man, probably like a year or two before we stopped really talking, because I don't go there no more. The last time I went by there, what's her name? General Secretary, what's her name? The one that she did the story of us, and then she never posted the story.
Was that public square?
Yeah, Public Square. What's her name?
Is it Josie?
Josie, yeah, Josie. I went to his office. The last time I went to his office, I think,
Her name is Josie Gonzalez.
yeah, Josie Gonzalez. Yeah, what up? I went to the office to talk to him about something, and she was there. I just turned around and left. I'm like, I can't even put up with this no more. I could deal with his Uncle Tomness, but both of them put together, I'm like, man, I ain't even coming back around here no more. Because she was working as a secretary or something at the door. But these people are not honest. Now, man, because he looked, Kafan really looked me in the eye, and he's like, you think I'm an Uncle Tom? Negro, just sitting in institutions of higher learning under imperialism. You're the head of this wing. I mean, you think the government, your check says United States government, you think they paying you because you're a revolutionary? And what is the revolutionary things that you do? He goes to I went with him one time. See, we was close. He took me to the United Nations, like the African United Nations delegation or something like that. They was having a meeting. Because I asked him for a minute, bro. I used to tell him, yo, when you go into those meetings, let me come. I'm going to just carry your bag. I mean, cause, see, I wanted to know. It was all about knowledge. I want to know what they be talking about at the African Union, whatever they were. So I went over there, and I sat there and I listened to them, and they sounded just like neoliberals. The conversation they were having had nothing to do with the mass of the people, the conditions of the people, what the people was going through. Not sat there. Oh, what's up?
For anybody that that's looking at the camera, I got scammed as well. I got scammed. I just wanted this what y'all to see. I got scammed. This is a real shirt right here. This is it.
Yeah, but he asking me, that is funny because he asking me, do I think he a sellout? Bro, you're running for office, and I caught myself explaining to him like, yo, what you're supposed to be doing is building institutions for liberation of our people, not running to be in their institution. And he telling me when I get in there, what I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Shut up, you ain't gonna do nothing. I mean, and nothing I'm saying here, I'm not lying about Kafani. I mean, there's nothing here that I'm going to hide from. Matter of fact, I might cut this clip and post this clip. Because everything I'm saying, we had the conversation. We talked about this. See, but he might feel some type of way. Because he don't want to be talked about as being a fraud. Because, that persona they put out, I said that they're... Yeah.
Yeah, Africa, don't do that. You all know.
You said what?
I said, don't do that. No.
Don't do what? What's up? Don't do it.
Said that you don't want to put that out there. Is that what you just said?
No. I'm saying I'm gonna put that video out. I'm gonna cut this video up and I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna tag him in it too, because we had the conversation. I mean,
but what you said that you may not do that because it may expose him as a fraud, right?
I don't even remember what I said 2 seconds ago, but hey, I'm gonna have to rewind it back to see exactly what I said.
Back Africa, but anyway, what I want to say, you said that he is working under imperialism because he's working in an institution. I mean, everybody can't be revolutionaries, right? So you think that, are you trying to say he's posing per se as a revolutionary or what? Because everybody cannot be revolutionaries. Everybody has to try to do the best that they can while they're here. Like, for instance, yourself. I mean, you do such awesome for the people. But I think sometimes you get too hard on people. That I know it's like you want them to be, you're right, you want them to be real. And they're not, and it really disgusts you. I can definitely understand.
But if you ask Kafani, what up is, if you ask Kafani if he's a revolutionary, he's going to tell you he's a revolutionary. I mean, so if you consider yourself a revolutionary, I reserve the right to tell you you're not. You do. Yeah. Like what you're doing is not revolutionary. You're working within the system. What you actually are is an institutionalist. I mean, you work in their institution to maintain their power and their hegemony. I understand that, and it is what it is. But don't cross that line and say you're a revolutionary. I mean, wear the African dashikis and all of this stuff to try to show like you're so conscious. If you was conscious, you'll be building it.
So, Africa, I have to ask you this: is there per se a revolutionary playbook? Is that what this lesson is about that you've been teaching for many sessions? A revolutionary per se playbook? Like, if he doesn't set his own.
You watching the video? You see me on video?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I listen to you. I'm listening to you. Then I switch.
Oh, I'm holding up the red book that we're reading. That's a revolutionary playbook that all revolutionaries. And by you saying that, yo, one of the next book I'm thinking about reading is Fanon, Black Skin, White Mask. I was thinking about that, or I was thinking about Fanon's Wretched and Poor. I mean, I was thinking about those two books to read. I mean, and those are like that, and this book, all those kinds of books, George Jackson, Blood in My Eye, all those books are revolutionary pamphlets on how we're supposed to wage the struggle. Even reading Malcolm. And when you read these books, these people like Kalfani are the opposite of what they're talking about in these books. So according to these books, according to these pamphlets, according to these notes from our ancestors, from our luminaries, yo, these people are frauds. And that's the standard I hold them by what they say in these books. I don't make up my own standards. I hold myself to these standards. Everything that Mao and them saying in these books is what we do in our life. Even having this space that we talking right now, it's all because it's coming out of here. We must create our own propaganda outlet and spaces to be able to reach the masses. That is what we're doing here. That's why I'm.
So Africa, as Malcolm X said, you can't be a little bit pregnant, then, right?
Exactly. You got to be all the way pregnant. Yeah. Well, let me finish this video.
The enemy of study. We cannot really learn anything until we rid ourselves of complacency. Our attitude towards ourselves should be to be insatiable in learning, and towards others, to be tireless in teaching. Some people have read a few Marxist books and think themselves quite learned, but what they have read has not penetrated, has not struck root in their minds, so that they do not know how to use it, and their class feelings remain as of old.
And I don't want to stop it, but this is important too, because we go through these classes, we have these classes, and then somebody calls me up, or they ask me, and it's okay, because it all takes us a time. It takes us a while to grow to where we need to be at. I wasn't where I'm at today 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. It's a process. But like, unless you grasp this information that we disseminating, you're still not going to understand the stuff around you. I mean, and even if you do grasp it, and let's say Jay-Z your favorite rapper. Let's say Nas or Jada Kiss your favorite rapper. And then you start to hear that all these people are part of the problem. It's going to be hard for you to turn away from these people that you see as role models, that you've been listening to your whole life. It's hard.
Others are very conceited and, having learned some book phrases, think themselves terrific and are very cocky. But whenever a storm blows up, they take a stand very different from that of the workers and the majority of the peasants. They waver while the latter stand firm.
And whenever stuff come up, like COVID, whenever stuff come up, like wars, bombing people, these people don't like Kalfani. You know what side they stand on. He will always stand on the side of the Democratic Party. Whatever stuff they pushing, all these revolutionaries move right to that side of that Democratic Party or the Republican Party. They never stand with the people. They never stand with science. When the thing hit the fan, you could see where they stand at. Yo, I told you, Kalfani was my mentor. I went to his office when I challenged the mayor. I challenged Ras Baraka about gentrification in the city at a basketball league. Hey, the same basketball league we're going to be in on Wednesday. It's summertime, so the basketball league is coming back to Branchbrook Park. Hey, yo, pull up to Branchbrook Park. We play Wednesday at 8 p.m. See? Commercial real quick. But anyway, I saw Ras Baraka there. I think it was 2 years ago. I saw him at the park, and I'm like, damn, bro. I mean, you done made everybody homeless. Yo, you know what this son? You know what he said to me? Yo, he called me a rapist on video. And he told me to shut up. He called my mother a whore. All kind of stuff that he said. I went to Kalfani office because I saw Kalfani like doing something with the mayor or whatever, like out there promoting him going to his event. So I went to his office and I'm like, yo, you heard what Ras Baraka said about me? You saw him in this video right here. I showed him the video. He's sitting in his car right there talking about if somebody killed me, nobody would care. I'm like, what side you on, bruh? I'm like, I was in here in your classroom. You teaching me about imperialism. You teaching me about all these people. I'm like, what side you on, Kafani? You ain't gonna make no statement. You're not gonna say nothing because he's supposed to be somebody with status in the community in North. You're not gonna say nothing. You're gonna let him just sit there and defame me and assassinate my character. I'm like, bro, you know me. I'm a rapist, bro. He just sat there. Well, we tried to stay out of politics. I'm like, man, whatever, bro. Like, that was the last time I actually sat in a room and talked to him. After that moment when Ross Baraka did whatever he did, and I went to see him, like, bro, really? This how you coming? And I saw what side he was on. So he may talk that gangster, that revolutionary talk, but when it comes time to pick sides, they're always going to side with imperialism. They're not going to side with the people. You see, but I learned that. I learned that the hard way. I learned it in practice, not just reading books. I was in the churches with these people. I used to go around with signs, putting signs on lawns, traveling. I had Poppy, I had Mama with me. We used to be going putting signs in Belleville, in Nutley, going to all these places, putting up signs for him to run for office. That's how long I've known Kalfani. When I came out of prison in 2008, I was in his classes. I went to his classes. He started talking to me about politics, telling me about school board meeting, council meeting, doing all this, like trying to advise me. But when Ross Baraka came at me because I pushed up on him for gentrification, this coward refused to say anything, to put anything out. But I didn't need him. I went out like I created my own platform. Created my own platform for me to be able to speak up for myself. I mean, because like after the process, after learning, these dudes learning you, because they will learn you. They will, because everybody talking down in New York, Mandani, he going to learn all of you. Just like the one before that learned people, all these politicians are always going to learn you. They're not going to do nothing. Man, let me finish this so I can show you another example of that.
They equivocate while the latter are forthright. In order to have a real grasp of Marxism, one must learn it not only from books, but mainly through class struggle, through practical work in close contact with the masses of workers and peasants. When, in addition to reading some Marxist books, our intellectuals have gained some understanding through close contact with the masses of workers and peasants, and through their own practical work, we will all be speaking the same language. Not only the common language of patriotism and the common language of the socialist system, but probably even the common language of the communist world outlook. If that happens, all of us will certainly work much better.
All power to the people. When we organize and people start understanding the world for what it is, we can defeat our enemy. But until then, you can't defeat your enemy because people fighting in different silos. People fighting over there with feminism. People fighting over there with FBA, FBN, whatever they call themselves. You got all kind of different groups. And you got the people that vote, that participate in the electoral process. All this stuff is drunk. But that's where people are at right now in our time. We all know what's going on. If you don't know, America bombed Iran last night. If you don't know, America bombed Iran. They bombed them yesterday, last night, last evening, however you want to phrase it. They bombed Iran. They broke all laws. Before you go to war, I know America don't follow that no more. But before you go to war in America, you're supposed to get the Congress. You're supposed to be like, yeah, go to war, whatever. They're supposed to give you the. They don't even do that no more. They don't even fake it. They didn't give no evidence. They didn't say nothing. This video is actually before they bombed yesterday. But what they're saying in this video, and I'm gonna try to stop it 2 times because I want you to get this so we can move on to the next stuff, whatever. I mean, but what they're saying in this video is real. This is the reality we have to deal with now. And remember, we have no power over what they're doing, over dropping those bombs over there. There's nothing we can do to stop them from throwing those bombs. In their political process, they don't even listen to us. They don't even should give us no evidence. Before they used to lie. They don't even lie no more. They just be like, we're going to go to war with them, and ain't nobody going to care. And all of this is what happens when you get somebody like Donald Trump in office. When the political system has decayed to the point where you get somebody like Donald Trump that is not a professional politician, they do things like this. They do things like this. Remember they got the Marines out in Cali, out in LA. They got the Marines. They got the Army. They got everybody out into the streets. You see, look, he doesn't understand how to do this political game. So he's going to continue to do things like this. But that bomb that he dropped on them, those bombs that he dropped on Iran, just opened up Pandora's box. We don't know what's going to come out on the other end of Pandora's box, but he just opened up Pandora's box. Because you think you're going to just drop weapons on people and they're not going to do nothing? You're going to drop bombs on people and they're not going to do nothing? Where you think you at? Who do you think you are to drop bombs and threaten to kill people's leaders? That's not some white supremacy shit to you? Think about it. People that have done nothing. Yo, and we're going to say it here. I'm going to say it clear because you're not going to hear this on other stations. They're not going to come out and say it. Yo, Iran don't have no nuclear weapons. Iran wasn't creating nuclear weapons. How do I know Iran didn't have no nuclear weapons? They wasn't creating nuclear weapons? Because the agencies that the white supremacists, that the imperialists have all put together to be able to make sure these people didn't have no weapons, say these people ain't got no weapons. They don't have no reason to lie. That's like me sending my children to your home to go see if your home is safe enough for us to come over. I mean, for them to come over there, and they go to your home. My children, they go to your homes. They see what's going on. They come back and they lie. They see all the bombs. They see all the stuff. All the incriminating stuff, and then they come back to their house and be like, "Yeah, Dad, it's safe to go over there." My children wouldn't do that. The people that you're paying money to go over there to investigate, because the West is paying these people. All these international groups, associations, all of them are being paid for and funded by the West. Not by the West, by the wealthy people that fund the politicians in the West. Because all of this is imperialism, is oligarchs. You got to find the oligarchs to understand what is really going on. The oligarchs that's funding these people. This is the place where you must go first. These are the places where the answers are at. No other media, nothing is going to tell you that. So we about to walk through this because they done got us in a war. The United States government got us in a war. The United States, not Democrats, not Republican, not Trump. The United States government that is owned by oligarchs have our safety in peril. Because they're at war, you have no idea what those people are going to do. The people that you're bombing, you have no idea what they're going to do to retaliate. Remember 9/11? All these things that we got to deal through? Because there's been blowback. Let me play this.
The speed of Israel's war on Iran, the dubious justifications, the airtime given to hawkish voices, and the volume of speculative coverage comes with an ominous sense of déjà vu. For anyone who witnessed or has studied the role of Western media in making the case for the United States' war on Iraq back in 2003, the parallels between then and now have been impossible to miss. Questionable claims of weapons of mass destruction, a target nation long seen as an adversary of the West, and large segments of the media working as foot soldiers for the war effort. How is it that more than 20 years since the Iraq War, this is where we're at? Chris Hedges was with the New York Times in 2003. Mr. Hedges, thank you for your time today. You left the newspaper back in 2005. You now have your own podcast on YouTube. Are you as stunned as so many are by the parallels we're seeing between the run-up to the U.S.'s war on Iraq in 2003, especially the construction of official narratives and the media's role in amplifying them, and what we're seeing now with Israel's war on Iran?
I'm not stunned because I spent 20 years overseas covering various conflicts, and most of those who call for war use lies and myths and half-truths in order to justify it. What I'm stunned at is that we fall for it once again. The parallels.
And that's the problem I have with Chris Hedges. There's no we. We don't fall for nothing. The people that are in the media, that are on social media, the people that are supporting this war, are supporting bombing Iran, those people are not we. Those are political, what are they, General Secretary? Political operatives. Yeah, political operatives. These people are political operatives. There is no we, Chris Hedges. Yo, if anybody know Chris Hedges, I want to sit down and have a conversation with him. Because I like his analysis, but whenever they start doing this we, there is no we. There's them and there's us. the people that drop these bombs, the people that support these bombs being dropped on other human beings, there's no we. And we take no, the poor we, the people we take no accountability for what the sociopaths do, Chris.
Are, as you mentioned, quite eerie. A country, Iran, that doesn't pose any threat to us in the United States, and now imperils our existence. Its leaders embody pure evil. Freedom and democracy are at stake. If we don't act now, the next smoking gun will be a mushroom cloud, and massive bombing will bring regime change and peace and harmony. I mean, that is essentially the playbook that was used for Iraq and Afghanistan, and is the same playbook, with many of the same voices, of course, that is being used to justify a war in Iran.
You know, you talked about some of the same voices that we heard back then, back on air now. You know, they were prominent in the U.S. media 20 years ago. They were pushing for the invasion of Iraq. Now they're agitating for the war with Iran. What does it say about the U.S. media landscape that these voices get so much play even after the disaster of Iraq?
Yeah, well, it's just another example of the bankruptcy of the U.S. media, which is, these people, of course, were wrong.
That's another problem I have. It is not a bankruptcy of the U.S. media. The U.S. media is a propaganda outlet. Nobody in any of these institutions serves the people. Nobody in none of their papers, in none of their internet, TV, radio, whatever, none of their media outlets, none of their TV programs, CNN, MSNBC, all these people, ABC, none of these people are journalists. These are all propaganda outlets to control how people think. You see, and when people like Chris Hedges don't affirm that, don't say that, it's just like how Mao was saying about the poets, about the music and art, how they have to speak for the people. If you're speaking for the people, you will blanketly call all those people traitors of the people. But Chris Hedges stops. He doesn't do that. Because I believe he has a relationship with people in all these institutions, and he has to be able to get on all these spaces to be able to speak. So he can't just go ahead and say that. But what Chris should be saying is, these people, there's no media outlet, there's no news out here. And I'm sure he said that before, but you got to say that every time. And this, aside from saying that, we have to create our own institutions away from them. And I don't know how far Chris is ready to go with that, even though all these people have been firing them since 2000.
We're wrong about Iraq, wrong about Afghanistan, wrong about Libya, wrong about Syria, but they are well funded. They migrate from administration to administration. They are, when they're not in power, ensconced in these think tanks, the Project for the New American Century, the American Enterprise Institute, the Foreign Policy Research Initiative, the Atlantic Council, the Brookings Institute.
All those things he's naming is all the NGOs that by and large pay people to disseminate the information that they want. So he's saying, after they make all these false claims, after they make all these lies, and after they kill all these people, because yes, if you're out in the media pushing this idea, co-signing what the government is doing, what these politicians are doing, you have blood on your hands. He's saying they don't get fired, people don't shame them and like feather them out of the community because they belong to all these different NGO groups. They belong to these schools. They work in these universities. They're getting money from all these different places, so they don't need to be accountable to the people. And these same corporations, these same media platforms that brought them, that put them on there for them to be able to brainwash people and lie to people, they're going to keep them employed, and even they're going to move up. They're going to move up. And what is that all adding up to? At the end of all of that, you put an equal smile, that equals to equals, that means there's no such thing as journalism. That's what you're describing, bruh. So wherever you go, you're supposed to be saying, there's no journalism in America. All these people are frauds. It's all state propaganda. Then people get the idea. People that listen to you, that listen to Chris Hedges, they understand, yo, listening to CNN, MSNBC, all of this stuff, it's a waste of time. It's useless.
which are largely funded, of course, by the Zionist lobby and the war industry. And so they have these megaphones on the media because of who they represent, not because they actually understand. I mean, most of them are culturally, historically, linguistically illiterate about the countries they're calling the United States to attack. I frankly don't think they could probably tell the difference between Iran and Iraq. And that, I think, is a window into the vast failure of the press, and going all the way back to its cheerleading for the war in Iraq based on false assumptions, but it's had a series of debacles since then, including its horrendous coverage over the genocide in Gaza.
I'd like to play two clips for you. One from CNN back in 2003, the other one from Fox News.
President Bush, he's not alone on this, seriously doubts that UN weapons inspectors will ever have a free hand in Iraq, that Saddam Hussein will bow to all the demands and give up all his weapons of mass destruction. And so the president presses on with his call for a regime change in Baghdad, presses on, and prepares for war.
And you're talking about more than 22 weapons. That is why Israel is saying that the world was done a favor by their strike, because this is a danger not only for Israel, but the entire world, to include the United States.
Can you talk us through the language used in both those clips? How does the framing sow doubt in the mind of the audience? How does it gloss over the lack of substantiated evidence or intelligence? What is the role of this kind of reporting in building public tolerance or even support for war?
There is none. That's not what the media is here for. And once you understand that, once you understand what's going on, and you know what they're talking about, when you see these people in the media on Fox and CNN, all these people that's supposed to know better on MSNBC, you see them for the frauds they are, because you could easily see it. You could just pick it out. Yo, how can anybody support a war that you have no evidence for? There's no evidence of anything that they're saying. So how can you be a journalist that's supposed to investigate, that's supposed to make sure the stuff that you're saying is true? How can you post any of this stuff, have anything out there when you know you haven't investigated? You don't even know Iran from Iraq. You don't know where, you couldn't point to it on the map. But these people are given platforms because these corporations, imperialism, that is what it wants them to do.
Peace and blessings.
All power to the people.
I just want to give a simile. For people who grew up in Newark in the schools, we know some people was bullies, but like what it reminds me of is that cool bully that's in school, and people just agree with him. Oh yeah, people just get on his side, and it's like, whoa, like this is still a bully. Like he's messing with these people. That's it.
Yeah, all power, but like everybody's scared of the bully. Everybody want to be cool with the bully, so they agree with the bully. And you about to see an example of that? I got to go through this video.
Credibility to a fictitious narrative. Let's remember that the intelligence community's annual threat assessment, I'm quoting, quote, Iran is not building a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, that's the intelligence service. Our intelligence, our FBI, CIA, whoever the one that's in charge of doing the investigation, they say Iran ain't got nothing. That's what he just said. They said Iran ain't got no nuclear weapons. Keep listening.
And Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003.
So the Supreme Leader, they call it a fatwa in Islam, come up with a fatwa saying, yo, we're not going to get into nuclear weapons because they're not only dangerous to our enemies, but they're dangerous to us. And as people of God, you see, I don't do religion, like all of that, but he said, as people of God, we're not going to participate in going to go get nuclear bombs. This is the directive that their leader, and the only person higher than their leader in Iran is God. So according to their leader, nah, we ain't getting no nuclear. This is where they're at. We're not getting no bomb. But you see Trump, you see all these people out there saying we have to stop Iran from getting a bomb. So that means they're not really bombing Iran for no bombs. Why are they really bombing Iran then? If it ain't for the bombs. See, but nobody want to talk about that. Nobody talks about the resources. Nobody talks about the oil. This is why they want to remove these people to put somebody else in there that they can control. When they say regime change, that's what they mean. Remove them, the people that's in there, because they're not doing what we want them to do from their country over there. Break all the laws. See, these countries are lawless. America is lawless. Israel is lawless. They do whatever they want. They don't care about no laws because they control the courts. It's just like the police on the streets. Like the politicians here, they control the courts, so they're not worried. I mean, and that's what he's explaining right now. That all these agencies already told you Iran ain't got it.
That was reiterated, of course, by the International Atomic Energy Agency. Netanyahu has been pushing this false claim that Iran is on the cusp of building a nuclear weapon for 3 decades. I know, because in 1995 I wrote a story quoting senior Israeli officials saying precisely that. So what they do is ignore verifiable fact. They ignore their own intelligence agencies. They ignore international bodies tasked, like the IAEA, with carrying out these kinds of investigations. And this again goes back to Iraq, because of course the CIA assessments, the intelligence assessments did not show that Iraq had a weapons of mass destruction program. He had chemical weapons, that I cover that. So they cooked up their own intelligence, and that's exactly what's happening here. They ignore real intelligence, and they peddle these hallucinations, and what's worse is that, of course, they're given platforms to do it.
Trump has weighed in quite forcefully behind Israel in support of this war on Iran. Now, this is the same president who, in his inaugural address, he promised to stop all wars, and he was posting just days ago, as recently as June the 15th, about peace between Israel and Iran. So what happened to the anti-war president?
Well, I think we have to remember that the character of Trump is defined by impulsiveness. He can contradict himself.
That's another issue I have. When they keep just talking about Trump. Trump by himself is not trying to go bomb Iran. I told you, you got to think about the natural resources, the stuff that's over there. Trump by himself don't control Israel. Who are the people with the money in the background that are making these decisions? Like the same way how North, when they want to come in here and take these buildings, like they come in here and take these buildings, ain't nothing we could do about it because they talk up there to themselves. They make them deals up there with themselves. It has nothing to do with the people. I mean, Trump is just like a Ras Baraka in North. Who is giving Ras Baraka the money for him to become a millionaire? That is the question you have to ask. Because if you want to stop what's going on, you got to get to the root of the problem. And these people that want to go bomb people, blow people up, to take their natural resources, those are the people you got to deal with. And most of the time, the people that sit in front of the screens, that are having these conversations, they're too scared to talk about those people because they're worried about their jobs. Because you're not just talking about a politician. You're talking about the money. You're talking about where the money come from, the connect. And people are afraid to have those conversations. So even Chris, like, why do they keep talking about Trump? Who is the one that's demanding Trump go bomb these people? Because to be honest with you, I would probably say Trump probably didn't want to do it. That's why he's been dragging his feet. But the people that paid him for his campaign, the Adelson General Secretary, look her up and try to see if you can get her up on here, get her up on the screen. Miriam Adelson, because her husband is dead. But these are the people that you need to be looking into. The people that fund people like Trump, that got more money than Trump. Whatever they want is what's being done. And I need people like Chris Hedges to start saying that.
Sometimes within the span of the same interview, he doesn't understand foreign affairs, much less anything about the Middle East. I think they've appealed to his vanity, the idea that the United States alone has the capacity to drop these bunker buster
Now, I think we pretty much got
bombs.
it. I think we pretty much got it. Now, this is somebody on TikTok. They're going crazy on TikTok. They're talking about the same thing. I mean, let's see real quick.
President is now dragging us into a war. And how did he drag us into it? Well, he took Iran out of the nuclear disarmament agreement. He put sanctions back against them.
When Obama left, Obama had did a deal with Iran, part of the deal was they had to allow those investigators that are by and large funded by the West. They had to allow those investigators to come in, and they couldn't try to develop no nuclear weapons. Iran was like, yeah, we agree, we ain't trying to develop them anyway. So go ahead, bring your people to come in here and come check, because we're not trying to get a nuclear weapon. So that's what she's talking about. Obama signed that deal, made that pact with Iran. When Trump came into office, the people that paid Trump, that gave Trump the money for him to go in, they've been wanting to go bomb Iran. They've been wanting to do this for decades. They told him to rip that paperwork up, to rip that deal up. He ripped that thing up. So that thing no longer existed. It no longer existed. So they had a deal for them. So they're saying we're going to bomb Iran. We're going to do all of this so they could have no nuclear weapons, right? But you had a deal already for them not to get no nuclear weapons, and you the one that threw that deal away.
So he let the cow out of the barn. The cow's now been free for 7 years. It's not going back in the
So it's been 7 years since he got rid of that deal.
barn. And now Israel, right next door, is worried that Iran is going to have nuclear weapons any day. For what it's worth, Israel's been saying for 20 years that Iran, any day, is going to have nuclear weapons.
See, if you pay attention just a little bit, like you know what she know. They've been saying forever that they're gonna have that Iran got nuclear weapons. They've been trying to bomb them. Yo, they've been trying to bomb all these countries around them. They've been trying to bomb. They started with Iraq. They did Libya. They did Lebanon. They've been going for everybody, saying these people have weapons of mass destruction. We have to go do this, do that. They've been doing this for decades.
Israel is claiming that this is a preemptive strike. A preemptive strike is just an attack. We are going to be dragged into this because they have started a fight they cannot win.
So you think like you apolitical, how you going to be dragged into this? I'm scared to go get gas tomorrow because I got to get gas to take these kids back and forth to the after-school program to do all the stuff that we do in the community. Yo, how much food going to go up? Because now, what is Iran going to do? Are they going to close down that strait? There's a strait over there. There's a passageway where all the oil, everybody is able to go over there, like transport their stuff through these big ships. Yo, Iran said we're going to close that thing down. What's the Strait of Hormuz, whatever they call it? They said they're going to close that thing down. Now, how is that going to affect when you go get gas? When you think like none of this stuff impacts you, when you go buy food, when you go do anything, if you think this stuff don't affect you, like, you're crazy. You're wrong. I mean, and what we're saying as Panthers, you cannot just sit back and allow these people to do these things. We must start to build our own institutions to take control and power of our lives. I have no idea why anybody would disagree with that.
They know Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. That's the only reason they're comfortable attacking them. Last night, he tweeted all over the place that everybody in Tehran needed to evacuate immediately because there was going to be a massive loss of life. What a terrible shame, because he warned Iran that they should have signed the pact with him.
Who are you to tell anybody else what other country, what they should sign with you? And if you don't sign with me, I'm going to bomb you. That don't sound crazy to you? That don't sound like that's some bully shit? But bullies always get it.
It sounds like a direct threat. Donald Trump was elected telling his base that he was going to get us out of these wars, out of the Ukraine war, out of the Gaza war. Instead, those wars are meant wars, and he has dragged us directly into a war.
This is your boy Netanyahu. This is the one they're talking about. Now, Netanyahu, this was in June 12. This is a couple of weeks ago. June 12, he's about to tell you that they got nuclear weapons in Iran. That's Netanyahu. If you don't know who's Netanyahu, he's the one that's supposed to be the face of Israel, just like Trump is supposed to be the face of America. Like they're supposed to be the leaders of these countries, whatever. But Israel is not really a country. It is just another, you could add that to another state of America. It's really funded by the same people that's funding the politicians, that's funding American politicians. They fund whatever's going on. They control what's going on there. But listen to Netanyahu and see how long he's been telling us that they got weapons, nuclear weapons. Remember, look, this is June 12th. This is like last week.
Not stopped. Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year. It could be within a few months. They have the
2018.
the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous, weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from about 90% having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb. Iran is gearing up to produce 55 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out. Iran will be able to producing a little, but I haven't said million nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Within 3 to 5 years, like, look where I got this information. It's right there on TikTok. You go on TikTok and get all this stuff. You ain't got to do no brain cramming, kill yourself. All this information is out there. Remember, I told you, it's knowing where to look. See, because if you don't know where to look, you're going to just see booty clapping videos the whole time you're there.
If you take out Saddam's regime.
This is 22 years ago. This is what he came and he was telling the American politicians. Listen to him.
I guarantee that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. And I think that people sitting right next door in Iran, young people, and many others will say, the time of such regimes, of such despots, is gone. There is a new age. Something new is happening.
And that is speculation on your part, or you have some evidence to that effect?
I was asked the same question in 1986. I had written a book in which I had said that the way to deal with terrorist regimes, well, with terror, was to deal with the terrorist regimes. And the way to deal with the terrorist regimes, among other things, was to apply military force against them.
The way we did in Afghanistan.
The way, for example, I want to answer your question.
I guess I'm running out of time, so I quickly was trying to get there. We've done, I think, what you proposed in Afghanistan, yet I haven't seen that sort of neighborhood effect.
Well, I think there's been an enormous effect. The effect was, we were told that there would be a contrary effect. First of all, people said that there would be tens of thousands of people streaming into Afghanistan, zealots who would be outraged by America's action, and this would produce a counter-reaction.
Yeah, that's what happened in Afghanistan. Remember, this is 22 years ago. That's what happened with Afghanistan. They just ended the Afghanistan war a couple of years ago, where they claimed they ended it. Biden, remember, people were jumping, falling off planes, trying to leave with America, because America came there telling them they were going to do all this stuff for them. When it's time for them to leave, they left all those people to die. People was clinging on to the planes. They was falling off the plane. These people didn't care. They flew out of there. But he's talking right now is before they went to Afghanistan. And everything he's saying wouldn't happen in Afghanistan, it's exactly what happened in Afghanistan. It's exactly what happened in Iraq. It's exactly what happened in Libya. All these places that they went and bombed and killed people, everything he's saying, like right now, the conditions we have, right now in the Middle East, was created by these people, these sociopaths. And they've been funding this guy since the 80s. The people with the money, they've been funding them since the 80s for him to be in position of power, because they fund his security, they fund everything. When we start, go to the money, who are the people funding these people? And he's telling you, he's saying and telling them, like, the only way you get rid of these people is by changing their regime, these terrorists. He's calling them terrorists, even though they're the ones terrorizing everybody in the Middle East, all these countries. You see, when I'm talking, I see these countries in my mind, because it's a map. And I see where all of the countries are at, and I see all the countries that they bombed, and now how they're going all the way to Iran now. And I see how they've terrorized everybody in the Middle East, in that area. They have bombed them into submission. And he's sitting here, and he's saying the only way to deal with terrorists when he knows he's the terrorist. When he knows he's these are people that you can't have conversations with. They're not sincere. They're not honest. You can't talk to them about anything. Talking is useless. There's no ideological struggle with these people. They're just going to steal natural resources, and they will say whatever they need to say to move on to the next subject. So what's the point of even having a conversation with them?
But I think you're not saying that when you take an action like we did in Afghanistan, we're going to see all the other countries just fold.
No, what we saw is something else. First of all, we saw everybody streaming out of Afghanistan. The second thing we saw is all the Arab countries and many Muslim countries trying to side with America, trying to be okay with America. The application of power is the most important thing in winning the war on terrorism. If I had to say, what are the 3 principles of winning the war on terror? It's like, what are the 3 principles of real estate, the 3 L's, location, location, location? The 3 principles of winning the war on terror are the 3 W's, winning, winning, and winning. The more victories you amass, the easier the next victory becomes. The first victory in Afghanistan makes the second victory in Iraq that much easier. The second victory in Iraq will make the third victory that much easier too, but it may change the nature of achieving that victory. It may be possible to have...
Hey, yo, I ain't see it before, but this white guy back here in the back, listening to him, yo, he just moving his head like, dude, like he just straight bugging. This white dude back here, I just noticed him just now. I ain't noticed it before when I was watching it, but he said back there like, this dude bugging. You was right, my guy. He was bugging, because everything he said there turned out to be a lie.
Taking place. I don't guarantee it, Mr. Kearney, but I think it makes it more likely.
Yeah. This is Dennis Kucinich. I don't trust him no more either. But he used to be talking all that. Yeah, I used to have faith in these politicians back in the day. Like 05, 06, 07. Kucinich was my guy. I mean, but like...
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The answer is categorically yes. The 2 nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran. A third nation, by the way, is Libya as well. Libya is, while no one is watching, under the cloak, is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability. So you have here now 3 nations. Not surprisingly, all 3 have been implicated in the past in terrorist activity using the clandestine means of terror and proxies. Another question is, what's your next step? Knowing that 3 of these nations are developing nuclear weapons. This is not a hypothesis. It is fact. Iraq, Iran, and Libya are racing to develop nuclear weapons. So now what is the next step? I believe that the next step is to choose.
Iraq, they hit Iraq, which is 2002. So 2001, around it, they probably were still at war with Iraq when he was talking about this. Iraq had no nuclear weapons. They went over to Libya. Libya had no nuclear weapons. Everything that he was saying, because this is 2002 right here. So what year did they go to Libya? Like in the teens? When they go, whenever, when Obama was in there, 17, 16, whenever they went over there and they killed Gaddafi, they had no nuclear weapons. Now he's trying to go to war with Iran that has no nuclear weapons. If there was any kind of justice, if there was any kind of court of criminal justice or anything like that, this dude would already be hung already. But they've been proven wrong for everything that they've done, all the thousands of people that they killed. Just think, millions of people that they killed, and people that are not no longer here anymore. The ecosystem that they've destroyed, they waged these wars. And these people are not held accountable at all. But you talk about the young people in the hood selling weed and selling coke and stuff, like we should go send these people away for 20, 30 years. Like this, like if once you don't know, once you don't understand the world that you're living in, the things you say out of your mouth, the ideas you support will be crazy. You're worrying about children these people are bombing entire countries, and you don't even see it. You see nothing. You don't see the crimes they're committing.
It's not a question of whether you...
I'd like to say something.
Well, what's up?
Yeah, when you were talking about like people not seeing and not understanding, this is the same government that on one hand people that are like against the immigrants saying, yeah, lock the immigrants up, blah blah, America, like immigrants are taking all this from us. But again, they don't understand it's imperialism that drove these people to come to America. The same thing they're trying to take Iran's resources and land. All this stuff is connected. You can't come out your mouth and you know we have a criminal injustice system. You know that they're locking up black and brown people disproportionately, illegally, just like they're locking up immigrants illegally. So you can't support a government that's doing that and not support them because it's inconvenient or not beneficial to you. This is the same government. The same harms they're causing you, they're causing other people around the world and here in America. You can't support a government like that. So I'm just tired of people It's Facebook, social media. It's always one thing about another. But they blow up social media about this immigration crisis, but we're heading into World War III. So people need to get it together.
All power to the people. That's true. And when they go over there, they go blow people up over there in Iran. They destroy everything over there. And some of those people make it here. They go through all of that. They go through everything to be able to make it from the Middle East here. And then you're gonna be chatting for ICE and the police to go pick them up and lock them up. Yo, it says something about you. It says how ignorant you are, or how sociopathic you are. Because you could even know. Some people know the truth. They just don't care. They're too lazy to care. Remember John McCain? This our old. Listen to the song that he's singing from the Beach Boys. This is supposed to be like groups that we're supposed to look to and think they were something. They were here like to entertain the people. I never knew the Beach Boys made this song. Listen to the song.
That old Beach Boys song, Bomb Iran.
Art is propaganda.
You say something? Oh.
I was just adding that art is propaganda. They're using music to make it palatable to say it's okay to bomb people.
You said what?
Art is propaganda. He's using music to make it palatable to the audience, to make it like fun and entertaining and the message, but you're actually bombing people, making it okay to bomb people.
Hey, but did you hear the Beach Boys, though? You hear this song, Bomb, Bomb, Iran? You heard them?
But I don't think that was what the song was. I don't think that's the lyrics of the song, though.
Now, you need to Google that. I'm about to play it over.
Yeah.
But I wonder, you should Google that.
That old Beach Boys song, Bomb Iran. Bomb, bomb, bomb,
Yeah, it sound like they saying Bomb Iran to me. But yeah. So that's how long it's been going on. So now Trump was talking about it a couple of days ago. He talking about going to war with Iran, bombing them. And the person right here, the scribe, because they're not journalists, they're scribes. They're telling him like, hey yo, your own agencies, your own investigators saying like they don't have nuclear weapons. Listen to Trump.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
National intelligence. He told the government.
He's wrong.
Yo, he just came out. He said my intelligence community is wrong. You got an intelligence community that's supposed to go get intelligence to come bring it back to you. Yo, I don't think a president has ever done that. He said, they're wrong. My intelligence, the people that's supposed to give me the information, he said they're wrong. So you would think like he did his own investigation. Like he went over there and he went and looked for himself and he saw it. Well, he didn't do that. He don't do none of that. He wouldn't even know what the bomb looked like. But like, now Tulsi Gabbard, she's the one that he made ahead of the CIA, whatever she ahead of, all these government institutions. But anyway, she's the one that's ahead of it. The same CIA that killed all our revolutionaries, killed all around the world. She's ahead of it now. But the first place I heard of her was on the debate. When she stood on the debate stage with Kamala Harris.
During that video, remember I got the video.
You didn't share it? You sure this not it?
Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue.
Yeah, this is the video. But anyway, but look at her. There she go right here. She's out there. She was like, this is the first time I saw her on the debate stage, and I just came out of prison. I had that time, and I knew how the system worked, and I despised Kamala from the beginning. When I found out she was an attorney general from the beginning, I already knew how she was coming. I didn't need to know nothing about her. But then I knew how the justice system worked. I know how it come for us. And then I'm listening to her on the debate stage, and she says this to Kamala.
With Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate, you called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
You hear that? When I heard that, I'm like, oh. I picked my head up like, what? She did not just say that. She locked up over 1,500 people in California for smoking weed. And when they asked her about weed, like she laughed. Like they all talk about smoking weed. Kamala, Barack Obama, all these people. They talk about smoking weed. But they destroy people's lives, people's jobs. They had the police go hunt people down for smoking weed.
She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row. And
she blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row. From death row. See, that's what these people do when they work for the government. When they work for these institutions, they become the pit bull of imperialism, of white supremacy. These are black people they're talking about. That she called herself black. She went after.
So the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor.
Well, what that sound like? That don't sound like slavery to you? She kept black people in prison longer than they were supposed to stay in it, to use them for cheap labor. Cheap labor to do what? Go fight fires. Yo, I'm telling you, once you know, you can't unknow this stuff.
The state of California, and she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
She fought to keep cash bail system in place that affect poor black people in the worst kind of ways, or whatever she said. So like when I knew somebody else in the county. Bro was locked up in the county with me for like 6 months. His bail was $200. There was nobody that could come get him. Nobody that could come pay $200. There was nobody out there that would pay $200 to get that boy out the county. They used that pay system. They used to use that to keep people in there for years. We went to Chicago. We did a protest. They had somebody locked up in Chicago, I think, for like more than 10 years. Locked up in the county system. I think they finally let the person go. Kept him in the county for 10 years. You see, it sounds crazy to you. Google it. See, that's the system we live in. Everybody just think America became lawless yesterday. Like, oh, democracy. You ain't got no democracy, man. There's no democracy in America. These people do what they want to do. And unless you got your eyes open, going through their systems, because if you don't go through the system, you don't know. If you've never been to court, if you've never been to the jail, you really don't know. But only if you've been through these spaces that you can know how evil these people are.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response?
Yeah, what's your response?
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system.
Yeah, that? No revolution. Of significantly reforming the criminal justice system by locking our black asses up.
Of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just...
You hear that one person clapping back there? It's one person clapping. It's probably her husband.
Just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the...
But this is how I met Tulsi Gabbard. This is how I first found out about her. And then I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with all politicians that you meet, and they say one thing, you be like, oh, this, like Bernie said, oh, then you get to find out that these people are nothing. They're frauds. They're frauds. They what is it, sheep herders? I mean, they herd us into the Democratic Party by saying some of the stuff that we believe in, some of the stuff that we all know to be true. And then when you go in to check on them, to really look at their track record, you see they're just like all other politicians. They're frauds. Tulsi a fraud. And I'm gonna show you. She was talking all this gangster talk. Her whole career, she flipped. Because after a while, you can't be with the Democrats no more because you don't flipped on them because they're all about their loyalty stuff. They're not with the people. They're about their loyalty, the people that fund them, the people that fund Kamala for her to be up there. Once you cross them, you got to find another home. So she started running to the Republican Party. Instead of going to form her own things, start her own, build her own institutions, she went over to the Republican Party. I mean, so it's like you start to see, but I'm about to show you right now.
The IC continues to...
This is her in March saying that there was no weapons of mass destruction. Matter of fact, hey, General Secretary, share your video. Let's go to your video first.
Okay. Give me a second.
Let's go to her video. Because even before, a couple of months ago, probably like a month ago, she shared a video about nuclear weapons because she knew what was about to happen. You see, because she's conflicted inside. One part of her want to keep it 100. So, you trying to say something, Patience?
No, I was muting myself.
All right. A part of her want to keep it a buck, want to be that person that stand on the stage and go after Kamala, excuse me, because they're going to say like I'm sexist, I'm racist for saying her name the way it's spelled. But that person that went after Kamala is the same person that's sitting up there that understand that these people are about to take us into a war. And these people got their nice bomb shelters. They got places where they're going to go. For nuclear war, they got places to go hide. We have nothing. So people like Trump could go ahead and drop bombs on these people, because if they retaliate, he could just straight get on his little plane that's supposed to be able to survive a nuclear war, or they got their bomb shelters and things that they go in there and hide. This is the deal they cut with the imperialists. Are you looking on that video?
I'm trying to unmute myself. I'm having a problem. Give me a second.
You always have a problem. That's why I told you to just put it on over here. But anyway, I'm about to skip that video.
To assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
Yeah, so that's her. That's her saying it in March, that they're not trying to get weapons, they have no nuclear weapons. And this is Trump, recently, a few days ago.
That you don't believe Iran should be able to. But how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified at March that people in the community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon. I don't care what she said. I think that's very explicit.
I don't care what
Iran is not building it.
I don't care what she said. I think they're very close. So it doesn't matter what your agency. It doesn't matter what the truth is. All that matters is what they want to do, what the imperialists want to do, and they're gonna go ahead and do what they want to do, no matter what anybody say. But I want to play her part.
IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC
suspended in 2003. So after Trump came out and said she didn't know what she was talking about, this is the same Tulsi Gabbard, the one that went after Kamala Harris. Now she got another job. She's the top of the CIA. She over there now. She the big honcho. So look what she says over here. The dishonest media is intentionally taking my testimony out of context and spreading fake news as a way to manufacture division. Just think about that for a second. She did in March. She said they're not trying to get nuclear weapons. They don't have nuclear weapons. How is the media switching up your words? What are you talking about? Even though we all see the video, but we are all that dumb that we don't know what's going on. America has intelligence that Iran is at the point that it can produce a nuclear weapon within weeks to months if they decide to finalize the assembly. President Trump has been clear that can happen, and I agree. Yo, you just said they're not trying to get nuclear weapons. They don't have nuclear weapons in March. So you telling me from March to June they got nuclear weapons and they're gonna have them in weeks? Yo, you're lying. You're a fraud. But all politicians, and this is for the people in New York that keep talking about Mandani. He's gonna be the same, just like her. He's going to be just like Bernie Sanders. He's going to be just like AOC. They're going to be like all these fake politicians that got you to think that they were noble. that they really cared about the people, because that's what their job is. They're actors. They're supposed to get you to believe in the stuff that they're saying, and you fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Because I fell for it. I fell for it with Obama. Yo, I fell for it with Bernie Sanders. Think about that. You see, I was locked up for Obama, so I couldn't vote for Obama the first time. But when Bernie Sanders went, I was out there about to go vote for Bernie Sanders. I was, what? I voted for, I think that's the only time I ever voted in my life.
Yes, you did vote for him. That's the only time.
Hey, yo, my daughter laughing at me. I voted for Bernie Sanders, a white old Jewish person. So I'm telling you, what I'm saying to you is like, I understand. I understand the struggle. I understand how these people can fool you. They fool me. I worked for Ras Baraka. I used to work on his campaign. But they ain't got to keep fooling us. We got to build institutions to let the younger generation know what is coming. Our children, the next generation, shouldn't have to go through the same stuff we went through. What Jay-Z say? I went through it, so you ain't got to. Like, you don't have to. You don't have to go through that. You don't have to go vote for Mandani. And what is the option if you're not going to vote for Mandani? Start your own organization or join one, and you learn how organizations work, learn how to build one. Find a political philosophy. What's your political philosophy? What do you care about? Do you care about the people? If you care about the people, you believe all the people should be in the hands of the people, then you by and large are Marxist. You a Panther. If you believe the people should control their destiny, you a Panther. Then you start to study what Pantherism is about. You study the theory of Pantherism, and then you find yourself. That's the solution. Not going to vote for Mandani, Cuomo, Adams. Like, you bugging. No politician that serves in this government gives a damn about the people. None. Zero. Zip. So like, I want you could go try to find them. Out of all the politicians in the United States, go find a politician that cares about the people. That's not supported by corporations. That's not going to flip like Toasty Gabbard. They all flip. Look at us, standing with their hands up. As soon as Trump says something, but you done though. They already cut you off. They don't cut her mic. They don't invite her to no meetings or nothing. I mean, like anybody, somebody with self-respect, you just walk away at that point. Like, yeah, I tried to do what I could do. It ain't going to work. I'm just dip off. Nah, she just wrote this whole statement saying what we saw in the video was a lie. Your career's over. It should be over. The people shouldn't listen to you no more. But the other side don't really mess with her either. So her career, by and large, is over. She's going to be teaching somewhere in the next couple of years. She's going to be teaching there till she die. But her career is basically over. I mean, okay, now we're about to enter a whole different world war. These people are sociopaths, yo. And if you're not politically educated, you're going to be lost.
And Democrats, pay attention to your local politicians, what they say about this World War III we about to go into.
Yeah, this is Trump after they dropped the bombs on him.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this.
You ever heard of those names? Everybody heard those names. I never heard of Fordow. I don't know nothing what's going on in Iran. I never heard of it. You know the people that talk about it? The billionaires that's funding you. Those are the people you heard it from. Because you're not around us. You're not around people like me. You're not around people in our class. You're around those people. Like, what's that? Who that Ted Cruz behind him? You're around them people. Look at him. He look like he dead back there. These are the people that y'all around that want to go bomb people. Want to bomb nuclear sites. Like, how smart is that? How do you... They went and dropped bombs on nuclear sites. Like, if there's nuclear weapons there, are you telling me like there's going to be no radiation? But the Iranian people say they already moved that stuff. Like, we moved that stuff before you even dropped the bomb. That's what they say. The Iranian media came out and said we already moved everything from there. They dropped the bombs on us. I mean, like, yeah, we're going to get some get back. That's where they're coming from. But let me finish this guy, man, because I don't even like looking at him. Like, they just look disgusting to me. These people look disgusting. Like, I could see the hatred, the vileness coming out of their skin.
Horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor.
You heard that? He said they went over there. Because I want you to listen and see how their language changed after he done dropped the bomb over there. He said they went over there to stop them from their nuclear enrichment. You could enrich nuclear whatever. You could have nuclear enrichments for your people, for your country. You could enrich nuclear. Hey, there is a treaty. There's organizations and stuff that Iran belong to. That their job is just to, by and large, make sure these countries are not developing nuclear weapons. What is it? The non-nuclear proliferation, whatever. It's groups that belong to it, whatever. And these countries are like, we're not gonna we belong to this group because we're not gonna get nuclear weapons, and we want to be protected from countries that have nuclear weapons. So we're not even gonna go get nuclear weapons. We're gonna just belong to this group right here that says, like, as long as we don't go get nuclear weapons, this country's nuclear weapons can't even attack us. And what did Trump just do? Attack them. So what you think all these countries that's sitting back thinking like, should we get a nuclear weapons? What you think they're thinking right now? Because if they had a nuclear weapon, they wouldn't have got attacked. What do you think they think? What you think Iran thinking right now? Man, I should have been got me my gun. I should have been got a gun. That's what they thinking. You see, but these buffoons, these new rich people, rich white people, they don't understand the struggle it took for them to be in the position that they're in, because they never struggled. Trump ain't never struggled. He ain't go to no wars. He dodged all of them. All these people standing there behind him, they never been to nothing. They never really went to war with the savages, because that's what they call the indigenous people in all the lands they try to conquer. They call them savages. You see, Trump he didn't go to war with these people. He wasn't here with General Custer. He didn't suffer no losses. So they do things like this because they're stupid and ignorant. They don't understand what comes after this. And they just think because they have the biggest gun, they get away with everything. Paper tigers. That's what Mao called them. Paper tigers. But in a few days, we're going to see. We're going to see what happens.
Terror. Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Nuclear enrichment facilities. How are you bombing nuclear enrichment facilities? They don't have bombs. So he just moved the goalposts. I'm going to bomb the enrichment. They cannot enrich no more. They have all the right in the world to enrich. They can't enrich no more. You're going to bomb. You're saying you bombed them for enriching. That's illegal. What you did was illegal. But they don't feel like anybody's going to hold them accountable.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Like, look how they talk. Just listen to how he talk. These people are gangsters. This is not a politician. This is not a leader. These people are gangsters. And gangsters need to be dealt with as gangsters. You can't negotiate. There's no ideological struggle with the sociopath, with the savages. They are the savages. The Neanderthals. There's no conversating with these people, yo. There's no cutting deals with these people. Whatever Iran does, it does. I just hope they don't do it over here where I'm at. Because, bro, I ain't do nothing to you. I know I'm over here, man. Yo, I was talking to my man, and he was like, yo, man, we might need to really move to DR. He like, ain't nobody trying to bomb no DR. Bro, burnt out. Word up. Nah, look at these people, man. Just listen to how they talk to people. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, yo? Like, really, like, who do you think you are? That you could tell somebody that it's time for peace after you done bombed them. Wait till you hear what they dropped on these people.
For 40 years, Iran has been saying death.
And they call them terrorists. Like, who's the biggest terrorist than you? You bombed every country over there.
To America, death to Israel.
And that's another thing. They've been saying death to Israel because Israel does need to die. Israel is a terrorist country. Israel is a lawless country. Anywhere else in the world, any lawless country will deserve to die. Why doesn't Israel need to die? They're committing apartheid. Why does that government have to be alive? Because you're sponsoring it. Because it's really not Israel committing apartheid, but Western regimes funded by the oligarchs, funded by imperialists. And that is why they're waging wars on the people that live on those places. Like when they wage wars and they come in our community and they gentrify us and they move us all out of the community by systematically removing us. And nobody talks about that. Nobody comes to the community and talk about. See, back in the day, they used to burn our communities because gentrification they knew. They used to burn it. They used to flood it. Now they use the legal system. They use the system to push people out. Because you come in, you double somebody's rent for like 6 months. They don't have the money to pay that back. You take them to court. The court side with the landlord, and you remove that person from that premises. You make them homeless. You see, that's how they do it here. Because the justice system, the court system, they still have credibility. As we speak, they have credibility. In a while, they won't have credibility because the people will be tired of it. And when those institutions start to lose credibility, people don't even show up. Then the people understand, like, they don't need to listen to the police, the lawyers, the sheriffs. Then you have a problem. That is the path we are going here. Here, right here in our communities, that they're gentrifying. That you got the Marines, the National Guards, all in the streets to deal with. It's an issue bubbling here on the homeland. The same way how they're doing them in the Middle East, they're doing people taking their natural resources, kicking them out their home, blowing them. You see, those people, they think they could blow them away like nobody will see what's going on. People really don't know. But we're in a whole new era. It's 2025. People see all of this stuff. They're streaming all this stuff, and they're seeing it. They're seeing these people for what they are. The people are against these governments. The people are against these governments.
Killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs.
Every time you say what? You say what? You say what? What? I can't hear you. What you saying?
Who is that?
I don't know. I thought it was Rodrigo.
Yeah, it was me. That was by accident. Somehow it just turned on.
Oh, no, you good. I thought you wanted to say something. Nah. But, by the way, what did he just say?
Their arms blowing.
Oh, no, like the nerve to sit here and talk about that they're terrorists when you've been blowing people up. Yo, what's the number? Yo, we should have put the count up. All the people that America, Israel has killed. And then put another list on the side with all the people that all the Middle Eastern countries have killed. It's not even close. It's not even close. But just the gall to stand up there and be able to act like you're oblivious to all of this history. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years history. To act like you don't even know all of that. How you talk to people like that? There's no conversating with somebody like this.
Off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qassem.
Yeah, I don't even want him to talk. But this is what they did, bro. This what they did.
Trump just brought the war to home. The U.S. Air Force carried out airstrikes targeting nuclear facilities at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. The operation used B-2 stealth bombers equipped with 30,000-pound GBU-57 bunker buster bombs. According to Trump, a full payload of bombs was dropped at Fordow, and all aircraft returned safely outside Iranian airspace. Iran's IRNA acknowledged that its air defenses had activated over all 3 nuclear facilities and claimed no radioactive material was released. Experts argue U.S. strikes likely violate international law, UN Charter Article.
Likely? They do it violate. You see what they just did? I tell you, they're all cowards. Likely? Likely, bro?
Likely violate international law. UN Charter Article 51. Senators Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz praise the strike. Others, Steve Bannon, Thomas Massie, Bernie Sanders, Rashida Tlaib, condemned it for bypassing Congress. Russia and China strongly condemned the strikes and called for restraint. Trump confirmed the strike himself and said, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this." Now,
Say bully. Congratulations to our military. Well, congratulations to what? You in a stealth bomber. Nobody can see you. And you're all the way in the sky dropping bombs on innocent people. What are you congratulating? See, but this is how cowards and bullies move. They think if they're bigger and they're stronger, they can do whatever they want until they meet somebody like me. Yo, most of the time when I meet people, they be like, yo, I thought you was like 7 foot tall. I thought you was bigger than you are. I've always been smaller. But I don't give a how small I am. Nobody is going to bully me. Nobody. Because I don't care how big you are. You're going to come down into this ground where I'm at. But these people are sociopaths. There's no reason in the world to be supporting any of these people. Any of them. This is what, like, look, so they put somebody in here, let's say they put them in here, they travel from wherever they came from, go out there, you can't read nothing. It's a stealth, whatever. Like, it's only, I think, 19 of these in the world. In America, probably got like most of them. So they go in here, you go in some secret squirrel-ish, and you go over there and you go drop bombs on people. You're not a hero. People that done nothing to you. What did Iran do to America? What is all these countries that they went over there and they blew up, all those millions of lives lost, who made money from that? Who got resources from that? It wasn't you and I. We didn't get nothing. Them oil companies. Remember them oligarchs I've been talking about the whole time? They the one that make money over there. That thing right there, that's billions of dollars. While people starving. The Black Panther Party, we got to go around feeding people, taking groceries to people's homes. Like we got to have after school programs, all this stuff, because like
it's already being speculated that the U.S. is going to be bankrupt by these next maneuvers that they're flying on behalf of another country. So this is stuff that has been pretty much, it's been forecasted by the past revolutionaries, including Lenin before World War I rather. Pretty much they predicted that these wars were between capitalist countries over resources. Iran does have resources, which they supply Russia and China in a very serious way, where they supply a lot of their resources, and the United States would like to cut that off because they have a bigger plan to divide up the Russian Federation in the long run. They're playing a chess game. They're doing this but they're using their proxy country, and I believe both are proxies to each other because they're part of the same beast, which goes back to other nations that have practiced this form of imperialism, which was developed in the 20th century in this maximum form, which includes very fascistic tendencies. And the United States did invent this, and I am 100% convinced the United States invented fascism. They just didn't have a name for it. That happened in the 1920s when an Italian who probably was well versed in socialism, as well as the other side, which he ended up fighting for and getting paid for. He pretty much switched it up and codified it and gave it a name, and this, of course, ended up becoming. So the two were always back and forth. The United States is a child of Europe in terms of being a colonial settler state, which advanced and took over an entire 2 continents in ways, by having power, what they call hegemony. And so this little aspiring startup, the last one created 75 to 80 years ago, I suppose, is trying to do the same thing in the Middle East, using European and their European culture, ways of thinking, but it's backfiring over and over again, because especially with the trees that they planted earlier, throughout their history, to remind them of their old European roots, has been taking a flame. And also, it's just like there's so many reasons why they should dismantle this, and it reminds me so much of South Africa in the mid '80s, when everyone was convinced that somehow there was going to be peace between the racist government and the vast majority of African people, who the indigenous people, who wanted at least to be part of this power. And even though I do understand that there was a division amongst that between even a couple, where one got more shine than the other, and truly I believe that Winnie Mandela was onto something, especially when she threatened that 100 million Africans were a lot more powerful than the 3 million white people that were living there. So they, of course, went to the side of Nelson Mandela on that. But this is the same exact thing, and I got to see the extinction in my lifetime of that racist government in that form that remind me so much, because in my young years I got to see that. I'm seeing blonde hair, blue-eyed police killing Africans on TV. I got to see Palestinians under the government of the PLO applied their resistance against the Israelis, and also in South America, in Central America, when we start to see presidents being elected that were progressive, at least in some way that didn't involve being under the capitulation of the United States. So that was a very strong historical time. That was 40 years ago or so. And yet we've seen this, and now it's advancing to even a more a larger sense that this could include another world war, and as long as it's been since the creation of the United Nations, which was just an attempt of the so-called first world nations to keep control of the world and continue to colonize for as long as they can.
All power to the people. That's true. That's true. Well said. Yo, it's 2:30. Let me get through this clip. So I want you to see what they actually did.
What has happened today is the first ever American airstrike on Iran, ever. And they were conducted by B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. These are the Rolls-Royce of stealth aircraft as far as the United States strategic forces are concerned. And these aircraft are virtually invisible to radar. Now, there were two fleets of B-2s, one that came westward across the Pacific, the other that apparently came secretly from the east, and it is understood that it was the latter that conducted these strikes. The B-2 stealth bombers, they cost nearly $2 billion a piece. There are only 19 in existence. They have very, very reduced radar signatures, which would anyway not be compromised because the Iran air defenses have been sufficiently weakened already. What they used was this weapon, which is one of the most powerful, most aggressive non-nuclear weapons. This is what fell from packs of B-2 bombers flying over Iran. It's called the GBU-57. It's a massive ordnance penetrator. It's almost 20 feet long. It doesn't look very big in this image, but this is what Trump's B-2s actually dropped. It's a precision-guided bunker buster bomb. It weighs about 30,000 pounds. It's the biggest non-nuclear weapon ever built. It has a width of about 31 inches, but just look at the length. It's 20 feet long. It doesn't look very big in that image. So this bomb, called the GBU-57, was dropped from a B-2. We do know that at least 2 B-2s per site were actually used from a height. These bombs are dropped. They drop under gravity at extreme velocity using different kinds of navigation and targeting. They are made from performance steel alloys which are extremely strong, and you know why in a moment that they need to be constructed with such strength, because they have to penetrate up to 60 to 70 meters into the earth, and this is what happened
very likely at the Fordo facility. 200 feet, that's 61 meters, the Fordo nuclear site, which contains not just a crust of earth, but huge number, like a large width of reinforced concrete, and it is under all that, about 200 feet of concrete that...
Like, real quick, when they drop this bomb, they have no idea what's down here. They have no idea how deep down it is. They don't know none of that. So when they drop this bomb here, if it's all the way on the other side, if the facility is all the way on the other side, they basically really did nothing. You got to know exactly where you're going, where it's going to be at. They really don't know exactly where. And what he's giving you is just a video of what they think happened. We have no idea what happened over there. And I'm going to tell you something. In a few years from now, it's going to be normal. It's going to be like everybody's going to be saying it, just like they say with Iraq, that Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction. Because we found that out later. They went to war to see. You remember Colin Powell, that Uncle Tom and that traitor went up there on national TV and said that they got this, they got all. Found out that they were all lying. It's going to be the same thing with them. None of these people is going to go to prison. None of these people are going to be held accountable. None of them, from the media to the politicians to the person that drove that plane and dropped that bomb on these people. None of these people are going to be held accountable. Because in their systems, in their institutions, we have no power. That is what an oligarchy is. The only way to get power is for us to organize together to build our own, our own institutions, to walk away from their institutions. It's hard for people to understand that. I can see it say no plainer.
The world must not put.
This is the what do you call him, man? The minister, the sole minister of Iran. All right, he'll come to me in a second.
Forget that it was the United States which, in the midst of a process to forge a diplomatic outcome, betrayed diplomacy by supporting the genocidal Israeli regime's launch of an illegal war of aggression on the Iranian nation. Not content with such malign actions, the United States itself has now also opted for a dangerous military operation and aggression against the people of Iran. In doing so, the U.S. administration holds sole and full responsibility for the consequences of its actions, including the Islamic Republic of Iran's right to self-defense under the principles of the United Charter. Iran reserves all options to defend its security interests and people.
That's the foreign minister of Iran. That was the foreign minister of Iran after they got bombed. He's on his way to Russia. He's on his way to all these different places for them to go talk about what they're going to do with this lawless nation called America. And if you say they're talking about, I don't do politics. I don't do politics. You don't have to do politics. We're going to do you. I mean, but that's our show for today, man. We at war with another country. People walking around outside, they're oblivious. They don't understand what's going on. But you at war with a nuclear country. And like I said when I first started, the first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. We must educate ourselves on the circumstances and the what? What you want?
Got you.
Oh.
Great show, great show. One of the things I like about your show, Africa, is that it doesn't matter what religion, you all about the revolution, and that's the most important. You got to sometimes put that religion in the closet and go forth and keep our eyes on the prize. So awesome show. Thank you.
All power to the people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I hope people see that. Like, the only thing we could do, the only thing I'm trying to do is get people to come together for us to organize together. That's the only option or hope we have. I mean, but that's it for the show, unless anybody got something to say. Going once, going twice. School's infinity. That better not be pulled. But anyway, talk to everybody later. All power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people.